bring in, as promised, Academy Award-winning documentary filmmaker Michael Moore. Michael, good evening.
Good evening, Keith.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is Rachel Maddow. Good evening, Rachel.
Good evening, Keith.
There's been a spike in the desire to own guns in Connecticut. Statewide, over 90,000 guns have been authorized for sale. You know how I feel about it.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Good evening, my fellow Patriot Facebook buddies. It's been what a day. It's Thursday the 5th, 2013. You're listening to the Midnight Patriot radio show and podcast. You can join us here live every Monday through Friday. You're listening live for those that are listening right now. This is the real deal. This is live. But Monday through Friday from 9 p.m. till 12 a.m. Central Standard Time. You give us a call at 1-800-580-4870. That's 1-800-580-4870 if you'd like to join into the conversation. Tonight, of course, we're going to have, later on in the show, Prepper Recon is going to be joining us. I believe we're going to be talking about canning. I don't know. Let's just kind of see where it goes. As you know, as your avid listeners of the show and stuff, the show kind of goes where it wants to go. You know, very wise man once told me, want to hear God laugh? Tell him your plans. So, but no, it's a great day here in paradise in the great state of Wisconsin. It's cold. Oh, winter is upon us. But you know what it is? It is the Christmas season. So, you know, I would like to have nothing more than about 4 feet of snow. I think that would be awesome. That would be incredible until you have to actually go out and shovel it. But it would be a great thing to have. Now, another great thing to have is we have officially unwrapped. Now, tomorrow we're having an event, but I am, of course, in Facebook jail, so I can't broadcast it. So I'm going to ask you, my fellow patriots, to go out and grab tomorrow at 8 a.m. We are doing the official launch of PatriotFB.com. That's PatriotFB.com. For all those new listeners out there and stuff, just kind of let you know, we actually started up our own social media site dedicated to the Patriots and to the movement. So you can join us out at PatriotFB.com going forward. Of course, we're going to stay and hang in there in the Facebook. You know, you got to, it's kind of like, you know, a good Christian man needs to be do his ministry at a jail. I mean, that's where all the evilness is. So, you know, we need to still keep our Facebook accounts all the way up until when they turn them off. And I'm sure it's coming, but you can still get us there. But if you're out at Facebook, if you want to do a great service for us, go out, let your friends know about us. Let them know that they have an alternative, a social media site which they can gather. They don't have to worry about Big Brother snooping on them. They don't have to worry about censorship. They don't have to worry about us selling their identities. They don't have to worry about us getting their cell phone numbers and tracking them and all of that. You can join us out there at PatriotFB.com. But you can also join us live here on the web at www.themidnightpatriot.com for all the news and show information. When we get back from the break, we're going to be talking about the liberal media and their amnesia. You know, it's amazing. It's amazing, these guys. You know, then we'll get, you know, give you some tips on the new site, some things that you can do, some of the features that we've added today. We've been busy here at the Midnight Patriot Radio Show podcast, getting our new site up and running for you. So we'll be talking about that. And then Prepper Recon will be joining us at the bottom of the hour to be talking about everything prepping. And I'm sure we'll talk about a few other things. We always do. It's always a great show when Prepper joins us. And I have to tell you, last night's show, if you have an opportunity to listen to it after this, outstanding show. 3 hours. Jeff Hayes Outstanding. He has his book. He's giving it away for free, an electronic copy of his book, and we'll do those links up there today. But you're listening to the Midnight Patriot Radio Show and Podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Norton.
They say that the stock market's gonna crash. They say that every single one of us is gonna let down while they walk across our back. But I'ma stand up. I'm gonna put my fists in the air. No, I don't wanna have to bring my guns, but I'll be ready if it goes there. But you can lay down if you wanna. You can run away if you wanna. You can pretend that this is totally okay if you wanna. You can play dead if you wanna. Get what they said if you wanna. Turn your back on the country and you right now. But I don't wanna. So let's stand up, put our fists in the air. No, we don't wanna have to bring our guns, but we'll be ready if it goes there. 'Cause we're the epitome of what's left of the USA. We're hardworking, honest, and we make our money the good old-fashioned way. But you can lay down if you wanna. You can run away if you wanna. You can pretend that this is totally okay if you wanna. You can play dead if you wanna. But get what they said if you wanna. Turn your back on the country and you right now. But I don't wanna. No, I don't wanna. Well, they say that the country's fine with a little hard work and prayer. We can get her back on her feet, 'cause I believe she belongs there. So let's stand her up and brush off the dirt and dust. A lady liberty needs our help from every single one of us. But you can lay down if you wanna. You can run away if you wanna. You can pretend that tyranny is totally okay if you wanna. You can play dead if you wanna. Get what they said if you wanna. Turn your
You're listening to the Midnight Patriot Radio Show and Podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Norton. You can join me here live Monday through Friday from 9 p.m. till 12 a.m. Central Standard Time, or on the web at www.themidnightpatriot.com. And also, my new home, my home away from home, my winter home, probably my summer, spring, and fall home as well, is patriotfb.com. If you haven't had a chance to get over to the Patriot FB site, you need to. You need to get over there. Let me tell you why. I don't know if you guys knew this, but about 2 million Facebook users got their username and password hacked today. Now, I'm not saying that can't happen with us, but I am going to tell you that the data that's in our database is encrypted. So, good luck with that. But and not only, from a security standpoint, we give you some news about the new site. For those that don't know, it is a Facebook. It's weird. It's uncanny. It really is. How much it resembles the old Facebook. The Facebook that we all loved before they started putting all the crap in it that caused your Firefox or your browsers to come to a screeching halt. The old Facebook that didn't require you to use your cell phone number so that they can tie you in and track you and do all of that stuff. Remember those days? The good old days when Facebook was just a social media site? I tell people Facebook is going like MTV. Remember MTV where they actually used to play music? And now it's all the other stuff. So, it's just unbelievable. When I was looking at my Facebook account today, and I noticed that more and more it's ads. More and more, like in the intermixed. Now you don't even know it's amazing because when you post a lot of stuff, Facebook will put you in jail. I know. I'm there now. But I've been sprung from the hoosh cow. I'm a man on the run and stuff. But no, seriously, it's getting to the point now where you don't know what's actually true posts and what's actually advertisement there at Facebook. It's just unbelievable. So what we did now, like I said earlier, we could have whined and cried the fact that we were put in jail and that Facebook is, invading our privacy and selling our information and doing all sorts of nefarious things. We could have whined. We could have liberals. We could have, oh my God, we got to pass a law. We got to have a committee to look into this. That's right. We got to have a committee. Let's get a committee together. We're going to get 20 senators on the committee, and only 2 are going to actually show up. But then when C-SPAN puts the camera on them, they'll just kind of miraculously appear. Remember, watch that movie Airplane, where they had the pilot just, his inflatable doll. Maybe it's probably out of, just giving my age. That's usually what happens. We'd be better off, to be honest with you, because at least they can't pass laws to restrict our freedoms. But, going back, I digress. So when we started the Patriot FB site, the sole intention was to give you a patriot, a place in which you can safely speak your mind. Don't have to worry about, the information being shared with the government. We own the data. You don't have to worry about, the information being exposed to your employer, which a lot of you guys, if you're in the professional world, their employers require them to give you a Facebook account, access to the Facebook account. Well, here at our site, you don't have to do that. Number one, your employers don't know about us. They will eventually, but they won't. But we're going to fix that as well. We're going to have we're going to switch over to an invitation-only system. So you better get in while you can, because the only way you're going to be able to get in here in the next couple days, maybe weeks, it depends when we turn it on, will be by invitation only. So that way we are kind of controlling who we share our information with. But we've made a lot of changes to the site today. Some of the changes is that we do have a share link now. So you can actually post content on our site on patriotfb.com. And then you can link that to your Facebook account. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, number one, like I said earlier, your information's safe with us. Number two, you own that, not Facebook. So when you actually delete that, it is deleted off of the system. You know, and we do archiving, so stuff doesn't sit out there forever. The other thing too is that, you know, you're supporting your own site, because like I said, we created this for you, kind of like the show, so that you would have a voice, you would have an avenue to come and speak your mind. And if you want to join the conversation, give us a call at 1-800-580-4870. That's 1-800-580-4870. Love to have you. But so that was one of the things, is that we had the share feature. We added that. We also turned on the blogs, so you can actually start your own blog on the site, and then your friends can subscribe to it. So you have that capability. We have the marketplace. That's exciting. You know, for us guys, you know, that go to Gunbroker and all of the other sites and stuff and buy our firearms, well, you can actually do it here at patriotfb.com. And we're not going to charge you. It's a pass-through. It's kind of like Craigslist. You can post your information up there, what you got to sell, however you want them to contact you, your price. You do the deal, right? Of course, you got to follow when you're dealing with firearms, you got to follow all the applicable laws and stuff. We're not going to take a cut. We're not going to take a percentage. That's not what we're here for. It's a service. It's a way for us to communicate, right? So that's, you know, that's a great, and not only firearms, whatever you have. If you got a car to sell, whatever, you sell it, you know. Post it up there in the marketplace, and we'll do that. If there's any categories or anything like that you need to be added, just let us know. We'll get them added. You know, I was talking to a couple of the users today that were on the site, and they made suggestions. One of the things that we did is we turned off by default, we turned off the sharing of your birthday. That was a great idea. We did it by default. Now, you could do it in the securities. If you're using our site, the best way to do that is go up into the account and into the security section. And that's how you can, you know, turn that off. Privacy settings. Sound familiar? Account settings. Make sure we also did too, we set up the time zones so that you can put in your time zone so you have the proper time and all that stuff. So just, you know, just a bunch of stuff we've been doing. Now we are working on a link today that will allow you to invite your other social media buddies to patriotfb.com. The other thing too is from illegal, we got to be legal and stuff. I just want to let you know, we did do our terms and condition, and so when you use our site, these are our terms. You know, you can go to our site, but these are the terms and conditions. You have to agree to this before you use the site, right? Terms are things that patriots ask for on the battlefield. Yeah. Our terms are simple. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Pretty self-explanatory. You know. We don't believe in censorship. We're not going to censor you. You know. We ask, though, that we do have a community standard, and, you know, try to keep the profanity down. Doesn't further the argument, the discussion. I know you can be the most intelligent person out there, but if you're swearing at me, I'm not going to listen to you. So, kind of, you know, just remember, it goes back to that first rule. Do unto others as they would have do unto you. No censorship. Oh, hey. No Patriot FB jail for speaking your heart. If you truly are convicted about what you're saying, I mean, we don't have Patriot Jail here. And the most important thing is you own the content, not us. You own the content. So if you agree to that, then welcome aboard. Now our privacy policy. Once again, we try to keep it simple. Our privacy policy is very simple and pretty straightforward. We will not, under any circumstances whatsoever, give out or sell your information, including your name and email address, to anybody, period. Once again, you own the content. It's your content. If you want us to delete your account and delete all your content, we can do that with a keystroke. Not a problem. We will also never send you an email unless it's important or directly related to your Patriot FB system experience. In other words, if we got to let you know there's going to be a downtime, we're not going to spam you. It's not what we're about. Now, you need to go in your settings though and change that, because right now it's set for your settings to get notifications. So that's your control. Get up there and and don't be afraid. If you jack something up, I'm on during the day. Just send me a chat. We'll be glad to get it fixed for you. Also, no one will ever have access to your group's posts, files, or other data. The only exceptions to the rule there are exceptions. From time to time, a programmer will have to have access to the code in order to update the system, perform routine maintenance, and possibly fix bugs. I think we got them pretty much all worked out today. We're up and running. 0 downtime, by the way, today. Signing up loyal patriots. And all your data will still remain 100% confidential. Won't discuss it. It's possible that we will be required by subpoena or other legal action to grant access to an individual in the process of an investigation. Now, they're going to give us a subpoena. But with that subpoena, I hope they bring their fire extinguisher. You know where I'm going with that? I will fight and even go to jail. This is my promise to you. I will fight and even go to jail on your behalf to protect the data that you put on this site. I don't care who they are. I don't care what they threaten me with. I don't care. I ain't going to give it up. And like I said, they better be bringing their fire extinguishers, because we do have a nuclear button. We do have a nuclear button on the system. So it's pretty bad when you got to tell your developers, make sure you put a button in there that will completely wipe out the system at any given time. So that's there. Now, another feature that we added to the site is our chat. So we have a live chat. We will be monitoring that chat during the show. So if there's anything you want to say to us during the show, feel free to shoot us a chat. We'll get it out there. We'll talk to you guys. It's exciting times. We're very excited. We really, really, really are excited. Now, I was talking with JJ McCarthy right before going on the air. We are firming up that we are going to have Prepper Recon. That's funny. That we are going, he's got me laughing. I saw a post that he put up on the site. Now I'm laughing. But we are going to start doing a 24/7 show. So we'll more than likely we'll have different guests or different hosts on, and that will run 24/7. And of course, we'll link up to that with the site as well, so you can listen during work, stay abreast to all of the news and information. Another exciting part that we talked about too in the site is the forums. In the forums section, one of the things I heard quite a bit. So if you go to the forums, obviously there's the standard forums about, food prepping, all that stuff. There's things about the podcast you can ask us, or suggestions and stuff. But more importantly, in the very bottom of the page, well, it's not the very bottom, but that's where it got shoved. Events by states. And what this is used for is it's a way that you can actually post an event in your state. If you're having a meetup, a militia meeting or whatever, or a seminar or whatever, you can post it here. So other people in your state can do that. Now, what's really cool is that we actually give you the ability to select your members. If you go to the member section, you can actually sort your members by location. Why is that important? Because, once again, you can reach out to those members in a particular state if you want to invite them to an event or a happening. So a lot of good things, a lot of fun things. I've been having fun today playing with this. We did fix a bug. I do have to tell the guys at iFlyChat, thank you very much for being on the phone. We had small when we switched over to our HTTPS. If you notice, everything's secure through SSL. When we switched over to that today, we had a little issue with the chat, and they were gracefully enough to stay on about 30 minutes, and they actually had to rewrite some of the code for us. So I appreciate their efforts. I also want to say FreshBooks. Spoke with them. They are the official, we do advertising here, and we have some other things that we do. And I just want to let you know, FreshBooks, if you go out to their website, freshbooks.com, it's an online accounting system. And they actually gave us a free account so that we can keep track of all of our advertising and revenues and all of that stuff. So it's so give them a call. And of course, I just reminded me, sponsor tonight's show. We got Prepper Recon going to be joining us, but we also have Mountain View, offgridliving.com. That's mountainviewoffgridliving.com. You might want to, get out there, give them a shout. You can actually join Sue. She's in the chat room right now. I'm watching her. Yes, Sue, I'm like NSA right here. I see everything you're doing. So, but give Sue a call, give her a chat. She'll be glad to help you. 30 years of prepping expertise. 30 years. But of course, we got Prepper Recon is going to be joining us. Hopefully, we'll be talking about canning here a little bit. In the news, obviously, we heard, might not agree with his beliefs, but still respect him as a man. That's more than I can say for our president. Nelson Mandela passed away today at the age of 95. What an incredible story of oppression, government oppression, censorship. He overcame that. He rose above that. And a nation, I'm sure his nation mourns, a country, a world mourns. Might not have agreed with some of his ideas, but you still have to respect the man. Unlike, I don't agree with any of Obama's ideas, and I definitely don't respect them. Don't respect them at all. So take a moment of silence and say a prayer for Nelson Mandela. Talking about our president, our king, our glorious leader, he's finding out that it's not so easy. It's not so easy to lie to the American people and get away with it. This president, this president, anything he says, I mean, he's the true, we in tongue in cheek, we say, how do we know a politician's lying? And we usually come back and say, well, he's talking, right? And we do that in tongue in cheek, kind of fun, kind of. This president, though, I actually believe that. I really do. We were going to talk about this yesterday, and this is a great time to talk about it before Prepper joins us. But, President's uncle is here illegally. He's a legal alien. Everybody knew about it. The journalists reported on it. And of course, Obama is like, during the election cycles, I've never met the man. I don't know who he is. I have no idea. Well, at least someone in the Obama that has the Obama, genes can tell the truth. His uncle, in front of a federal judge, said, well, actually, he lived with me for several weeks. So now you have the president today going, well, I might have been, yeah, I did. I knew my uncle, obviously, because the election cycle is over with, right? This is an administration that this is a president who just doesn't, well, he gets it. Someone said that, he's probably one of the most unsuccessful presidents ever. And I have to actually argue that. I think he's very successful. This president was put into this position, this office, by the powers that be. And we talked about those yesterday with Jeff Hayes, author, Rise of the New World Order. We talked about that. He was put into this position, and I'm a firm believer, especially after reading Jeff's book, to realize that he's setting it up. He's the Q guy, not the cute guy. Don't chuckle out there. The Q. He's queuing it up. You think what's going on now is bad? Wait until you see what they got for us in 2016. They pretty much had a political coup against our elected officials. They have the Senate now has complete control, regardless of the vote. The President of the United States, by decree, will change laws. We've proven that. They now have Americans now fearful of their government. That's exactly where they wanted them. And they are. Americans are sheeple for the most part, except for those that are listening to the show. When I say sheeple, and the fact that they, I was talking to some people today, well, I got to have the health care. I got to sign up for Obamacare. I have no other choice. Well, yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. You do have a choice. One of the choices is don't do it. Go out and get your own health care. But of course, oh no, I got to do it. I got to go get another job now to pay for my health care. Sheeple. It's unbelievable. But this president, never ceases to amaze me. It really doesn't. Once again, caught him in another lie about his uncle. I don't know the guy. Never seen him. Well, Mr. President, here's a picture. Talk about pictures. Have you seen the picture of President Obama sitting on a couch with his former roommate holding hands? You guys see that picture? Did some pretty crazy things in college, but I don't think I've ever sat on a couch with my roommate and held their hand. Kind of creepy. It's pretty creepy. Not saying anything. I'm just pointing out a picture that I saw of the president sitting next to another man very closely holding hands. Little creepy. So put it in the Google. Maybe someone will post it up on the Facebook on our site. PatriotFacebook.com. Oh, I'm sorry. FB.com. So it's just a crazy night tonight. The other thing too is that the whole premise of the Obamacare was hinging on the fact that the young were going to get into the system. Like all Ponzi schemes, you got to have the fresh money securing the old money, and it's got to continually roll over, right? Well, the problem is all the sick people and all the people who don't contribute to the financial stability. Now, when I say, everybody contributes to the world one way or the other, positively or negatively. But, those people are all signed up. But now the problem is they don't have any of the healthy people to offset, because the way the insurance works, right, is that you got to have a certain amount of sick people, and then you got to have a certain amount of healthy people that offset the cost and the drainage from the sick. Well, guess what? Ain't getting it. They're not getting it. The younger people, because they can't get jobs, they're not signing up for Obamacare. So now you got an insurance pool of nothing but ill people. Nothing but ill people. And Dave Ramsey, we actually did a clip with him talking about that. Dave Ramsey, a renowned economic advisor, broke it down and just, it's not my words, it's his. He's got a little bit more background in it than I do. He's telling you that it can't be done. Most economists are saying it's not going to work. They're going to have to do something else. And it goes back to what Rodney Conover was saying in the show last week. And he actually predicted here on this show that there's going to be a national subsidy of health care. He predicted it. And it's coming because you're not going to have the young people signing up for it. The healthy, the middle class people are actually looking at other programs. The other thing, too, is we're finding out the insurance companies that are underwriting are not the Blue Cross Blue Shields of the world. They're not. They're, I don't know, I would say kind of like subpar insurance providers. So we're finding out this president is not as slick as he thought he was. Plans aren't working. But that's what you get when you get a community organizer. They believe that just because they wish it should happen. As they're petting their pet unicorn. But, of course the liberals and the Democrats out there are going to do whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. And here's a good example. Liberal Media Group out of Madison was given $520,000 in what they call dark money. Dark money. Dark money for the war on the right. So basically, there's an organization out of Madison, Wisconsin. Now they call themselves the Center for Media Democracy. We had to call ourselves the Center for Media and the Truth. There you go. See if we can get some money so we can take this message out further. We have 24/7 programming. 24/7. Wow, that would be incredible to have that. We're getting there, though. We are getting there. Small baby steps. But Centers for Media Democracy was given $520,000 of dark money. This is money that's kind of don't know where it came from, but they do know where it came from. It's kind of in that gray area. But Watchdog.org reviewed the financial documents revealed that Madison-based CMD, which bills itself as a journalism organization, received $520,000 in 2011 from the Schwab Charitable Fund. That's 60% of the $864,000 CMD received that year. Well, they're pumping them full of money for a reason. Madison, Wisconsin. Journalism group. I wonder if you go back and you look at what's going on with our governor here. I wonder if CMD has anything to do with that. For those that don't know, Governor Scott Walker basically turned this state around. But he did it by telling the unions to take a swim in Lake Michigan. And it's working. As states are employment is rising, as states are letting teachers go and stuff, our teachers still have jobs. Remember that dire, if you don't let the unions have their thing, teachers are going to lose their jobs. Teachers have not lost their jobs in this state. Actually, they're hiring. The economy's good. No, we got businesses coming over the border from Illinois every day. But of course, now he's under attack by John Doe investigations. These are basically investigations that are sealed, but everybody knows who they are. Everybody knows what they're about. So the media reports about it, and they can disparage someone on the airwaves. They can do that, and they do that. But you can't defend yourself because it's a sealed indictment. So you can't discuss it and you're given a gag order. So you can't. But the media, people like CMD, who just got $520,000, they, they can print articles all day long disparaging you. But you can't defend yourself. It's amazing, this administration. This administration is just unbelievable. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Other things in the news, let's talk about, before Prepper joins us. We didn't get to this yesterday, but we'll get to it today. Today's layoff announcement right before the holiday. So as you're sitting there and you're working and stuff, be grateful for what you do have, right? Angle Dynamics, 80 to 100 individuals being laid off. Corona Regional Medical Center, 40. AOL, 20, mostly in the editorial staff. Oh, okay, I can see that. I can actually see that. Harvard Bioscience, 50. City of Greensburg, Illinois, layoff was going to start on Friday right before the holidays. Saks Aberdeen Distribution Center, 191. McGraw-Hill Education, 27 individuals. And Qantas International, 1,000. Now closing today, the list actually jumped up. We have MC Sports in Lake Zurich, Illinois. I know exactly where that's at. Yeah, in Lake Zurich, Illinois. Rural Discount Center of Shaka, I guess, Alaska. Yeah. Lakeland Sports Card, Florida. Golf USA in Farmington, New Mexico. Tim Hortons closed 5 of its main restaurants. Wow. You guys ever been to a Tim Hortons? It's an interesting experience. College days. Michael Stores, Inc., closing Health Ohio store. The West Islip King Kulin on Union Boulevard, New York. Rocky's Diner, Grasshopper Distribution, and Diversified Machine in Milwaukee is now closing after they announced 218 layoffs as well. It's just unbelievable. So as we go into the holiday, my prayers go out to those. We need to be thinking about our fellow citizens as our fat cat politicians are lining their pockets and passing laws and destroying this economy and everything. We got to be thinking about these citizens. Got to be thinking about them. We talked about the Detroit and the first position lien holders, how they got their money, $250 million. Now as Detroit has declared bankruptcy, and now the pension funds are going to more than likely be bailed out by you and I. Once again, it's the policies of this administration that's bringing down this country, this great nation. So, it's just I say it and I'll say it again. It's just unbelievable what's going on. On the good news, we will not be doing Honor the Fallen tonight. We don't have anybody to report on. That's very good news. Makes me very happy to report that. Now, of course, our Commander-in-Chief, our illustrious President, announced today that he is going to now put limits on the NSA surveillance. Because they probably realized they're not doing it because they heard you, America. They're not doing it because there's an outcry, America. They're doing it. The president, the reason why he's announcing this is because, number one, it doesn't work. We had congressional staff members writing letters saying that, people that are on the committees that oversee the NSA and stuff said that the information that they provided shows no proof that these policies have thwarted or avoided any such terrorist attack that they claim they did. But that's not, because the government's definitely not out for our well-being. the reason why they're going to drop some of these NSA, and of course they're not telling you what policies they're going to drop and what policies they're not going to drop. The reason why they're telling you that is because they probably got something already lined up to replace it, i.e. Obamacare. You know, think about it. You're putting all your information out there. Facebook, you know, they know who you are. They cross-referenced you. They got you in the database. You know, they have something better for you. They have something better for us. So for this president to come out and say, well, we're going to limit, and that doesn't mean anything. And to be honest with you, do you believe him? Do you believe him? You know, we're not going to listen to your cell phones. Well, of course, they don't have to because they got cameras and they got microphones out on the streets. You know, they can watch you in your home through your TV. You know, they can fly their drones over your house with infrared sensors and pick up heat signatures from you. You know, so, and probably the policy that they're going to change is they're no longer going to be opening up your mail and reading it. They don't have to. Anybody do mail anymore? So, you know, this government doesn't give up that easily. So don't be fooled by it. The other part of it too is my theory is if Snowden, we reported on the show yesterday, Snowden actually said it, or the Guardian said that they only released about 1% of what Snowden actually gave them. So I actually think this is a ploy for the President of the United States to get in front of what's coming down the pipe, because you're going to find out it wasn't just, look, I'm going to tell you, it just wasn't the metadata. They were listening to phone calls. You know, remember the story that was reported right after the Boston bombing? There was a lady that was like most Americans. I did it. I don't care. I did it. They bought the pressure cookers, and we'll probably talk about that a little bit later in the show. But they bought the pressure cookers, and they, made the bombs with it. Well, Americans were out wanting to see how that was done, so they Googled it. And there's one lady in Boston apparently did it, and lo and behold, the next day, federal marshals showed up at her doorstep. The next day. So they're listening. They're definitely listening to what we're doing. So just once again, don't, when the president tells you, oh, we're going to limit it. Yeah, whatever, Mr. President. The other thing too, it's not getting a lot of traction. Well, we knew it wasn't going to get any traction in mainstream media. But one of the things that was not reported is not only did this president, give Iran a pass, right? Took away all of their sanctions, so Iran can basically process whatever they want. But it's also this administration who is trying to help Iran get around the treaty that we either did or didn't sign with them. It's just unbelievable. Crazy. But that's how this administration works. Tell you one thing and do another. That's the, we tell you time and time again, that's the Sal Alinsky playbook. That's how they do things. That's how they, they get their power. They'll lie to you. They'll tell you what you want to hear. And then at the last minute, then tell you the truth. That's akin to a doctor, when I shouldn't laugh. You're on your deathbed. Everybody around you knows, the priest is there to give you the last rites, or your minister's there to give you the last rites. Your family your family members are gathered around you, and the machines are getting wheeled into the room, and and you reach up and you, Doc, am I going to make it? The doctor says, oh, you'll be fine. Oh yeah, you're gonna be fine. You know, that's what this administration, this president, that's how they work. That's how they work. You know, and of course after you pass and stuff, then you got some other. This is typical of this administration. You know, giving your eulogy. Well, he died healthy. What? He died healthy? How does that work? But that's what this administration is all about. Deny, 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 deny. And then when the federal judge says you can't deny anymore, Fast and Furious, Eric Holder, lie, 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 lie. That's their game plan. That's their playbook. How do I know that? Well, because I read Rules for Radical by Sal Alinsky, the book that's actually dedicated to Lucifer. You know, no news there. I'm reporting it to you because I think you need to know that. But in all reality, it's no news. I knew that. I knew that Sal Alinsky was a devil worshiper. Dedicated his book to him. It's unbelievable. I say that word a lot, unbelievable. But in this administration, it's actually going to be changed. It's believable. There's not much you're going to tell me that's not going to throw me off. Some other good news is that we do not have any. Well, we have a couple RadCon 4 events going on. You know, this is a new site that we're kind of watching. It talks about the nuclear radiological sensors throughout the United States, and we have one RadCon 4, which is an elevated event that's going on right now in Houston, Texas. Yeah, in Houston, Texas. And you can actually get this information. I'd highly recommend that you bookmark it. It's called netc.com, netc.com. Get it bookmarked. Because mainstream media is going to tell you that Fukushima, everything over there is fine. There ain't nothing. There ain't nothing going on. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. But the truth is, as I said here, a high-risk expert, a guy that looks at these situations, says there's a high risk of nuclear holocaust at Fukushima plant to keep emitting radioactive material for thousands of years. Thousands of years. They said it's going to be at least 40 to 100 years before the area is even not really safe, but you can go there. Study find giant strontium-90 release in the body of water begins around 1,000 days after the meltdown, December 5th, 2013. 1,000 days after 3/11, graphics show very high levels being discharged for up to 50,000 days. People on West Coast they have a right to be concerned about Fukushima plume. Yeah. It's unbelievable. Last week we actually saw the sensors all along the West Coast go up, and we saw some some what they call A alerts going off, which are, the highest alerts. NBC Nightly News, another highly troubling report about what's going on in the Pacific. Millions of starfish are melting away from Alaska to California. But you're listening to the Midnight Patriot radio show and podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Norton. When we get back from the break, we'll get Prepper Recon on. We'll be talking about all things prepping tonight. Maybe be talking about canning. I hope we do. I know that he was going to can turkey for the holidays. But you can join us on the web at www.themidnightpatriot.com. That is www.themidnightpatriot.com. Make sure that you go over to our other website, patriotfb.com. It is now open for business. Get signed up. Get posted. If you got something to sell it in our marketplace. You got something to talk about or blog about it. Join our forums. You're listening to the Midnight Patriot Radio Show. Join us here every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. till 12 a.m. Central Standard Time. Out of control spending. A government that no longer works for the people. Had enough? Then vote for Stone Anthony for president. Replace politicians with a citizen statesman. www.stoneanthony2016.com. You're listening to the Midnight Patriot Radio Show and Podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Norton. You can join us here live Monday through Friday from 9 p.m. till 12 a.m. Central Standard Time, or on the web at www.themidnightpatriot.com for all the news and information, and our new site, patriotfb.com. But we're not here to talk about that right now. We have a special guest, a good friend. Mark, I think I can call you a friend these days, can't I?
We're friends, Jeff.
We are friends. There you go. Thank you, my friend. Hey,
Absolutely, man. Did you have a good Thanksgiving?
I had an awesome Thanksgiving. Farm, I got a complaint, man. I really do.
Uh-oh.
I'm sitting here looking at the site. We don't do Farmville on our site.
Awesome.
we don't have any games on our site.
No Candy Jewels or whatever that one is.
That's right. No Candy Jewels, no farm. The only games that we might have on our website are the games that our governments are playing with us, but that's about it. But I saw that request. I started laughing. I'm like, and I actually should put that in there as a benefit. Oh, by the way, you're not going to get any, penguin whatever. That seems to be the big one now. So, yep, no games. No games.
I guess a lot of people like playing that stuff. I don't, but I don't know if it's something they have to do to earn points to send me these requests. But I mean, I just get tons of these requests, and it's just like, I don't know. I don't play these things.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
And they're from the same people.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not exactly, and I felt really bad, because I started doing a policy where I just said, look, if you send me 2 or 3 of these in the same day, you're gone.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gone. And then I go to their website and I see that they are like a Patriot. They are posting Patriot stuff up on their site. So then I'm like, oh no, wait a minute. But, there are some that would, that would just send me, they're gone. I'm like, I can't deal this no more. And,
but congratulations on PatriotFB.com. I love it. It's an awesome site.
I got to tell you, the name, that was you. So when when they do a movie about us and we're suing each other.
Is Jesse Eisenberg going to play you? He's going to have to put on a little weight. Yeah. He didn't really look that much like Mark Zuckerberg, really.
Yeah.
But, I guess he's going to have to, he's going to have to hit some fast food joints and start pounding down some Big Macs.
Some Big Mac, exactly.
He's kind of a scrawny kid.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're all closed. All the fast food places. They've got protesters out there. You can't cross the picket line. You don't know what's going to happen.
Really? Did you guys actually have picket people?
They did at the Wendy's up the street from my house. And they did a good job. They all had Wendy's wigs on. They all had the long red hair wigs. It was funny.
So what? They want $15 to flip a hamburger.
$15 to flip a hamburger.
Can you imagine the guy that's actually making $15 right now in a factory that's sitting there going, huh? That's like. And that's the one thing that gets me about these guys are like, well, they ought to get paid $15 to flip a hamburger. I said, well, what about the factory worker that's making $15 now? How much do you think he should get paid? And then of course, then after we pay him what he's paid, then the manager, and then so it's a never ending,
It's a never ending thing. And the whole reason that they can't get by on this, it's not because they're not making enough money. Yeah. It's because your government is printing the money at such a pace that the dollars left in your pocket while you still have the same amount of dollars in your pocket, they're just depreciating so rapidly that it just will not buy anything. And I'm going to date myself a little bit, but when I started working, minimum wage was $3.25, so less than half of what it is now.
Yep.
And it went a lot farther than the $7.25 went. Now, in 1910, the average hourly rate, I don't believe they had a mandatory minimum wage at the time, but the average hourly rate was 19 cents an hour.
Yeah.
So they were making about $7 a week, and they supported their family on that.
Yeah, big families, not not the one or two. I mean, large families.
Yeah, so it's not the amount. I mean, they could give you $1,000 an hour, but if they're printing it so fast and handing it out to the banks as fast as they can to buy up anything worth having, the inflation is just going to go through the roof, and it's just going to keep losing value. So you have to get behind people like Ron Paul and obviously you can't. It's too late to vote for him, but he's still doing an awful lot to educate people and get people informed on how our money system works and why we're having these problems in the first place. So how much they're making, it's the wrong conversation.
It's the wrong argument.
And they don't know it because, they go work there and you spend 40 hours a week flipping burgers and you're miserable and you go home and you just want to eat a bag of Cheetos and watch Dancing with the Stars. You don't want to study about economics and try to figure out how your government's lying to you through phony statistics that they're feeding you and telling you that there's no inflation and there's 7% unemployment and everything's getting better every day all the time.
Yep. It's just I don't know. I sat there and I was listening to him talk about. And the first thing you and I probably came to the same conclusion. It's like, well, if you want to make more, go to school. Or, well, actually, schools now, because they've subsidized the heck out of the tuition now, the average person can't even afford a normal school and everything. But, that's why I like Rowe. Mike Rowe is doing this huge initiative across the country saying, why would you go to college and put yourself in debt for the rest of your life when you can go to a trade school, a good trade school, and learn a good trade and be able to provide for your family? But it's just unbelievable. And I forgot I got an issue with a comment you made about voting for Ron Paul. Mm-hmm. My friend, I live right outside of Chicago. That man can be in the ground, and in Chicago politics, it's still okay to vote for him. We vote many times and often in Chicago. So, he's, of course now they're Dems, so I doubt they're going to get the vote. But I'm just saying that's the way our politics work around here. Is that it don't matter if they're still alive or we're still going to vote for them, and we're going to vote a couple times for them. So, I wish he would. I'm hoping Rand. I'm watching Rand. Yeah. And. I watched him. He
comes back around.
Well, he gave a speech.
He's really, really good. I think he disappointed a lot of people back in McConnell.
Yeah. Well, and that was the thing. And that's the thing is this drives you nuts about these guys is that, I was watching him. He did a speech at the Citadel, and it was just incredible. And he just, and you're like, okay, now why couldn't you have been like this, during the shutdown? Why, why did you have to do? It's just, I don't know. It's just, so it's ups and downs. And I hear Stone and all the way at his home on the East Coast now pulling his hair out, saying, Jeff, we've talked about this before. You can't put your faith in these guys at all. So it's insane.
But Ron Paul was in and out since the 70s. But he stuck to his guns all the way through. Never compromised.
Yeah. No,
never compromised.
Yep. Nope. I agree.
That's all I'm looking for, and that's all we're asking for.
Yeah. Well, that's what, believe it or not, that's why I like Stone. I like Stone. He's a guy that, I just got done watching Sons of Anarchy, a clip of it. That's Sandy's she likes the show. Yeah. And I watched a clip of it, and when I watch it, I'm like, I don't, I know Stone's a biker, but I'm like, yeah, maybe we need one of those guys in the White House, straighten some things out.
Go bust some heads.
Go bust some heads. So he's a great guy, and we've become pretty good friends, and everything. We become friends with everybody we talk to on this show. So did you have a good holiday? You have a good Thanksgiving?
I had a great Thanksgiving. I absolutely did. And what about the drones, the Amazon delivery drones? You like those?
Those are awesome. Those make great target practice.
They do. Now, I was thinking if they have any trouble coming up with the funding for those, I think I could probably broker a deal. I think the NSA would be happy to provide them with the drones, which they can just buy because they have access to the Fed printing press that devalues our dollar, so that $7.25 minimum wage won't allow you to even rent an apartment with 12 roommates. And 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 they could put their little camera on there, and they could just basically be filming everything all the way through every delivery process, and that would be free delivery. I think that everybody would probably be happy with that.
Yeah, no, it's funny because I was already thinking about the beanbag gun that I'm going to build and knock those things out. And no, it will. It's a free for all.
Yeah.
It's a free fall. So I know, I saw it, and and everybody looks at that stuff and they're like, ooh, that's all cool. And that's what they do. That's how they get you sucked in and stuff. They don't realize, like you said, that, it's going to have the cameras, and that thing, like that drone, when it's not dropping off your package, is going to be,
get co-opted.
Yep. It's going to be,
by the
being
police
snooping it. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just, like I said, target practice.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna have fun knocking those things out of the sky. They don't move that fast, so it's gonna be a blast. It's gonna be, fish in a barrel, my friend.
Yeah.
And stuff. No, it's just, I mean, we're just, I actually, we had Jeff Hayes on yesterday, and he wrote a book about the New World Order and talked about, great story. I had to introduce you to him and get you guys hooked up because he's got a really great story about, he was an atheist and everything. And then he started, to do the research on the New World Order. And then he saw God, saw Jesus, and came back to the faith, and just an outstanding, Christian. I mean, this book, he's giving his book away for free.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I know, and it's a 400 and something page PDF manual, and he's just giving it away, because he said that was a deal that he made with God. You want to talk about a guy that's convicted, not convicted as the president should be convicted, but convicted in his beliefs. This guy, as we were talking, he said that when he sat down to write the book, the deal that he made with God for giving him all the knowledge and the insight is that he would give the message away for free. And that's what he's doing. It's just I was reading this, and I, immediately thinking about your book and everything, and I had to hook you guys up. You guys might be able to become a writing team.
Yeah, maybe. I'm definitely going to go, and I'm going to download your episode from yesterday. I wanted to today, but I just had so much going on. But I'm going to download that and listen to it tomorrow going to the gym, because that looks like a awesome interview.
It was a long one. It was like a 2.5 hour, almost one of my marathon ones.
Sweet.
But you're not going to the gym. I'm waiting for episode 2. Book 2.
I know, but I do all the thinking about what I'm going to write for the day while I'm on the glider listening to something about the New World Order.
Yeah, as you listen to our show,
gets those creative juices flowing.
Do you want to hear another great show? And I'll tell you this. And JJ McCarthy does a show on Blog Talk Radio. He was a guest. Go to December 2nd and listen. Download that show too. So there's 5 hours, Mark.
All right.
You can do enough exercise in 5 hours that I won't feel guilty for me not exercising, because you can do enough for both of us, okay?
But then I won't be writing.
Well, Jesus. Come on. Come on. You get your priorities straight. You can do both. You can multitask. Can't you?
So what do you think about the Chinese airspace dispute? You like that?
Whatever.
They're flexing their muscles over there, huh?
Yeah,
And then we're flexing back. We're gonna drive a B-52 through.
Yeah,
which is one of the 2 planes that can really deliver a high yield nuclear weapon.
Yep.
And of course, I guess they could have drove the B-2 through, but then they would have never known it. They wanted to make sure you drive the obvious one through.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Hello.
What airspace? Yeah.
Yeah, look, I mean, I'm not all for war, but the fact of the matter is I really don't, I studied a lot of the Japanese history and everything, being that a lot of people, here you go. I was born in Japan. I was born in Tachikawa Air Force Base in Japan.
Really?
Yeah, my dad was stationed there. So,
cool.
Yeah, so I actually have a Japanese.
You can eat chopsticks.
I do. I have a Japanese birth certificate. You want to talk about, and then I'm sure that a lot of the Dems out there are just breathing a sigh of relief hearing that, because they know I can't run for office. But it was crazy. That's a whole nother. I had to go into that one. how I, after 9/11, I was a man without a country, basically because my parents didn't fill out the paperwork correctly. And I literally was a man without the country. So we had to go to a couple of the senators and everything. Well, at that time, my other business, I had my security clearance. And on top of that, we were donating some money to certain campaigns. And they just kept on giving me the runaround. And finally, I just said, well, look, if I'm a foreign national, I want all my money back. I want all the money I donated because it's illegal for me to donate. So I want it all back. And literally, this is no joke, 3 weeks later, I got a certificate basically saying I don't have a birth certificate. I have a certificate that says foreign national born abroad, basically. And, I just, Colin Powell, Secretary of State. So they passed some law. There's some Senate bill out there with my name, because that's, I learned through this process, you can become an American citizen 3 ways. You can either be born here, or you can, immigrate and then go through naturalization, or the Senate can pass a law with your name in it, and thus making you a U.S. citizen and stuff. It's crazy, but yeah, I don't have a birth certificate.
Well, Tom Hanks and Edward Snowden, they both did good living in the airport, so I think you would have been fine.
Well, my thing is, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to download Obama's birth certificate now that I know how PDF and all that works, and I'll just put my name on it. I'll just delete the meta tag data that they put on there, and I'll just put my meta tag data on there.
Oh man! So, now, have you heard about the Inform Act?
The Inform? No, come on, share.
Okay, it is it's sort of an acronym. And you can find all the information at theinformact.org.
Okay.
And the long version is the Intergenerational Financial Obligations Reform Act. And basically what they're trying to do is make the U.S. government use the same generally accepted accounting principles that you and I have to go by, because basically, if you or I, if we filed our taxes at the end of the year and we use the same accounting standards that the government's using, we'd be in prison the next day.
Yeah.
Forget about it.
Yeah.
I'm going to read off the page from theinformact.org, and it says, the Inform Act requires the Congressional Budget Office, the General Accountability Office, and the Office of Management and Budget to do physical gap accounting and generational accounting on an annual basis, and upon request by Congress to use these accounting methods to evaluate major proposed changes in fiscal legislation. And it's got support from 15 Nobel laureates in economics, and more economics professors than you can shake a stick at, and from both sides of the aisle. And I'm sure it's probably not going to get any traction, but this is all of the economists from both sides of the aisle screaming out to Congress saying, we're going over a cliff.
Yeah.
It's just about all over.
Yeah.
You cannot keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And it estimates the fiscal gap at $205 trillion, and going forward, 10.4% of GDP fiscal gap annually, and we just can't do it. It's headed up by Lawrence Kotlikoff, which he's a little left of center. But there's plenty of right of center guys that are in this as well.
Well, the reality of it is you're at the point in which they just don't want to know, because if they truly dug in and said, all right, what are we worth? What do we have? What don't we have? There'd be mass rioting in the streets tomorrow. I mean, it's just, they just, at this point in the game, is that the Ponzi scheme has already been in play, and it's going, and Rupert Murdoch, or not Murdoch, but Madoff would have been perfectly fine if the economy wouldn't have tanked.
Yeah.
And that's how this is. And
or if he'd had a government job.
Yeah. So
Or
it's just
if he could have just gotten his fund to be some sort of a government program.
yeah.
That's what he really should have done.
So we got all these smart
Social Security or Obamacare or something like that, or the Fed.
The Fed.
Then then Ponzi schemes are completely legal.
Yeah, that's right. Well, my thing is this: we got all these Nobel laureates and all these economists behind it. How many politicians we got behind it?
6.
And who are they?
And from both sides of the aisle, we've got Tim Kaine, U.S. Senator, and he's a Democrat from Virginia. And John Thune, he's a U.S. Senator from South Dakota, Republican. Chris Coons, Senator from Delaware, another Democrat. And Rob Portman, another Senator, Republican from Ohio. And then two representatives from the House, a Democrat from Tennessee, Jim Cooper, and a Republican from Illinois, Aaron Schock.
Wow.
So not a lot, but same thing. Simpson Bowles, they both had some ideas in there. There was some spending cuts that the Dems didn't necessarily like, and some revenue increases, which I certainly don't think we need. But it worked on an object of trying to get to a compromise.
Yeah.
That just nobody was willing to do.
Well, like I said,
and I think it's definitely a spending problem, much more than a revenue problem.
Yeah.
There's no way we shouldn't be able to do everything designated by the Constitution on $2.5 trillion.
Yeah. No, it is definitely a spending problem. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, that's why they have all the shadow banking going on and all the different things that are going on to even hide that. They can't even be truthful about what they spend. Look, it's like living with a spouse who does not know. I'll just stop right there before I get in trouble. Well, no, wait a minute. I'm the spouse. I'm the guy. It's me. No, Sandy. Actually, believe it or not, I am blessed. I will tell you that I am. I think I'm like, we're in a relationship, kind of like your wife and stuff. Is that Sandy does an excellent job of keeping us out of serious trouble. I do my darndest to get us there, but but she does an excellent job at keeping us out. So kudos her. I don't want to put anything out other than that, because people that know that is the case. So wow, it's crazy. So what do you think about the site, my friend? You like it?
I love it. I absolutely love it. It's very reminiscent of some other site that I've seen out there.
Yep.
It's just from the color schemes to the fonts to I think I saw Mark Zuckerberg on there.
So Mark, yeah, he's gonna friend us.
He tried to friend me. Yeah. He sent me a Farmville invite.
He sent you a Farmville. That is so funny. Oh my God. No, it was amazing. And I'll have to report the site. We actually jacked it up to it's over on Amazon. Talk about Beos and the droids. There are no droids here. We're actually using, we went 2 cloud services. So we're using, Amazon as our primary, and then we have another
very
one.
Cool.
Yeah. So we're actually, this server is actually being duplicated over, I think last count was 38 servers worldwide right now.
If it's secure enough for the CIA, it should be secure enough for Patriot FP.
Yeah, that's right. And stuff. So I'm just kind of curious. Like I said, we're getting probably about 3 or 4 signups an hour. We really haven't released it to anybody yet, but we've had 0 downtime. I can honestly say we are running 300% better than Obamacare did on the second day of its launch. So we're up there, man. We're doing pretty good.
Yeah, well, we're gonna have to get you on the Prepper Recon podcast to talk about it and promote it and get it out there, because I think it's a great thing, and I'm sure that we all know that Facebook is full of liberals that are at some point when the lines start getting drawn, they're going to shut us all down.
Oh, they're doing it now. I mean, I got out of Facebook. I got paroled Monday. And then my parole officer picked me up Tuesday. And someone put me back in. And that's what I tell people is like, and that's why today was very critical. We were working on the site today, and I said, look, we've got to get a way of linking back to Facebook. And they were like, why would you do that? And it's like, well, look, because that way people can come and post what they want here, and then they can kick it back to Facebook, but they always have the voice here because we're not going to block them, but they can still post here and then share it with their Facebook account and still have that. And when they go to jail, they can just, they have a safe place. They got a little retreat. We're a little underground railroad for those that are fleeing the oppressive masters, and everything. So
regular Harriet Tubman, Jeff.
And you've been all over me tonight. Trying to say something.
Oh man.
No, I'm enjoying it. It's just refreshing to see the reactions and everything that we're getting from people, and we're just really excited about it. Now, it is community driven. I can't stress that enough. Is that I was actually chatting with people today, and they were like, "Hey, can you change this? Can you change that?" And it's like, "Yeah, sure. We'll change it. Not a problem." So no, I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy with it. I was watching your communication. I feel like NSA now. Now I know how they feel. It's addictive.
Yeah.
I was watching your communications you guys were I gotta tell you. Well, I guess it's a public chat, so you guys know that, right? Yeah. But you can go to a private chat and have private conversations just by clicking on the person's name. Did you?
Oh, I did. That's what I thought you're telling me that you're watching my private chats.
Oh, no. I'm not watching. I care less about your private. No, I was watching your private. It's funny. I sit here, I watch them, and I get distracted during the show.
I've activated your camera on your phone, and I've been watching you for a couple of days there, Jeff. And I'll have to tell you.
Yeah, you do need to lose some weight. It's funny. No, it's good times though. Good times. And tomorrow's our official launch date. Well, I thought tomorrow was going to be our official launch date. We ran into a snag. I can't invite anybody on Facebook. I've been blocked. I've been blocked. And it's funny too. What was it? When I did my app ID with Facebook for the site, I did call it Patriot FB, and they came back to me immediately and said, you can't use that. I'm like, well, what do you mean I can't? Yeah, Facebook is like, you can't use FB at the end of your app name. I'm like, why? It's like, well, it means Facebook. And I'm like, no, don't. So I don't know. It's just I cannot wait until I turn that account off. I can't wait. But we got to go. It's like a good Christian. You got to go where the sinners are, right? To get them brought over. So we'll keep it there. So did you, are we going to talk about canning on top of everything else, or are we?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes. I got my canner last year. Yep. It was an early Christmas gift, sort of like my solar panels were my early Christmas. I get my Christmas gifts in November now. I mean, that's when they start running the commercials, right? Well, They start running the commercials in September.
Yep.
August. I think Macy's starts in June.
Yeah, I think they're just going to move the holiday. We're going to have 2 holidays.
Yeah.
we're gonna have 2.
And keep Walmart open for all of them.
Yeah.
Christmas Day.
Yeah, that's right.
Shopping at Walmart. That's unbelievable. That's terrible.
Are they actually going to do that? Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just talking about Thanksgiving as such a disgrace for all the stores that were open for Thanksgiving. I think that's a disgrace. But anyway, so I got the Presto pressure canner, and it's the light aluminum one.
Okay.
But it's pretty good. I like it. It works. It works great. Now I think it was about $70.
Okay.
Now they've got the big heavy duty stainless steel ones.
Yeah.
That have got the screw down pressure locks on them.
Well,
this is the one that just kind of locks in.
Yeah.
And it's got a little rubber seal inside. And now they've got the big screw down heavy duty ones, the stainless steel ones. Yep. Now those are a little over $200. but
yeah.
a little more heavy duty.
Well, I got the one made. I got the one from. I went out and I got my Christmas present. That's why I said Sandy saves the money. I go out and spend it. I went out and bought one that it's the Wisconsin aluminum. It's the heavy duty one with the wing nuts, and it doesn't have the seal or anything. And it's a 40 and a half quart.
Oh, you got the big boy.
I figured I'm going to do it. Well, I'm a big guy. Come on. Got to go large, man.
Yeah.
I figured, well, one of the things, I did learn with my short research and stuff is that one thing I didn't know is that, when you're pressure canning and stuff, it's like 90 minutes, correct?
For a quart of meat is 90 minutes at 11 pounds. So and it's going to take you a few minutes to get up to that 11 pounds. It might take you 15, 20 minutes to get up to 11 pounds. And then after your 90 minutes, you cut the heat off, and you've still got a little while to wait for the pressure to go down low enough to be able to open the thing up.
Yeah.
So you got 2 or 3 hours for a batch.
So that's why I said, well, let's just get a large one. That way we can knock them all out at once.
Right.
Get as much done as we possibly can. And so
sure.
So
you're having to monitor the heat the whole time while you're waiting for the pressure to come up because you don't want it to get too high and explode.
See, I have not done anything with it yet because I was waiting for the show. So,
awesome.
So yeah, I'm waiting. I'm
and most of your meats you're going to be able to do at 11 pounds of pressure, 90 minutes for a quart jar, and 60 minutes for a pint jar.
Okay.
So the smaller jars you can do, they're just an hour, and they're all going to have. It's going to depend on what size you got. I think I've got the 20 something quart, maybe 23 quart, something like that, and I put 3 quarts of water in it. Of course, you've got the big boy. You're probably going to put a little bit more. They usually come with did you get a little instruction booklet? Did you get the brand new one?
Yep.
Yeah. And now for folks that, if you're scared, you don't know you've never done it before, you can get all the instructions online. So, I mean, if you find a good deal on one of the heavy duty ones, like Jeff's talking about, in a secondhand store, pick it up because you'll be able to get all those instructions online.
Yeah.
And but the basics are you're just going to cook your meat at 11 pounds for 90 minutes for a quart jar and 60 minutes for a pint jar. The reason you have to do that is because that actually brings the temperature inside there up higher than actually a boiling point, and it's high enough to kill botulism, which if there's trace amounts of that, it's pretty rare, it's pretty uncommon, but it's one of those things that can take you out.
Yeah.
So, it's one of those things that probably will never happen, but if it does, it's really bad. So that's why you have to use the pressure canner. Otherwise, things that have a lot of acid, botulism can't exist in things like tomatoes and a lot of fruits, high acid fruits. And jellies and things like that. And so that's why a lot of those things you can just can them with a water bath. You don't have to have the pressure canner. But anything that has a low acid level, particularly meats, even some vegetables don't. Green beans have a very low acid level. So you're supposed to pressure can green beans. You can actually supposedly get botulism from green beans if they're not canned in a pressure canner.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And there's all kinds of things you can can. You can canned. I guess we're going to talk about turkey because that's what I canned 3 turkeys. We bought 4. Because they were 69 cents or 59 cents before Thanksgiving. So we got 4 of them. We had one for Thanksgiving and then 3 other ones we canned. And what I did is I did my regular turkey and I do it sort of a Dutch oven type of a style. I just take my roasting pan and I flip my turkey upside down. That lets all the juice flow into the breast instead of out of the breast. Now, it doesn't make that picture perfect thing that you see on the Butterball advertisement because, it's not going to get crispy all face down like that. And then I cover it up with aluminum foil.
Okay.
I put my thyme, rosemary, sage, a little salt and pepper, some chopped up onions, and some of the tops off of the celery. And I stuff all that inside the bird and cover that up with aluminum foil, and it cooks like lickety-split, much, much faster than what your regular turkey's going to cook, because it's locked into that steam because of the aluminum foil's covering it up, and it gives it that sort of a Dutch oven effect.
Gotcha.
And so as soon as my bird hits temperature, I pull it out, let it cool off, and then I just pull all the meat off the bones, and I take those drippings, pour those in a stock pot, throw all the bones and skin and the little very ends of the wings that don't have any meat on them, but they got a lot of fat and stuff, and I throw those in the stock pot, and I fill that up with water. Depending on how big of a stock pot you got. If you got a nice big one, you might only have to fill it up halfway with water. And I'll simmer that for about 2 hours. Let some of that water cook out of there, and let all of that good juice and everything cook out of those bones, and the remnants of the celery that was baked in there, and the remnants of the onion and everything that was baked in there, and the drippings that came out of the pan. And I'll strain all that off, and then I'll sort of break up my white meat and my dark meat, and I'll put a little of each one in the jar, and then I'll fill it up with that stock and give it about an inch at the top, because you got to have a little room because it's going to be really boiling while it's in that pressure cooker. And I'll leave about an inch at the top, and you're usually going to get these directions in your booklet, but it kind of helps to hear it. For me, it does, because those booklets are like, they're like an 80-page manual. It's like, well, I'm not trying to learn how to fly a helicopter. It's just can and turkey here, and it's all the information's on one page, but you got to read 70 other pages of stuff to find that one page. Yeah. And
I YouTube, so I'm a YouTuber.
YouTube University, man.
That's right.
I'm all about it. And so now I've got that nice stock, and I'll fill that up, and I'll leave an inch on each one, and put my lids on, and my rings. And now this year, last year for Christmas, I got some of those Tattler reusable lids. And what they're not the traditional metal lids that you use one time and throw away. Yeah. And it's plastic, and it's got a little rubber ringlet inside. Sure. And you just supposedly take them off, wash them, and reuse them. I did about 2/3 of my jars with those. Yeah. And I had 3 that did not seal.
Oh, wow.
So there may be somebody out there that uses them all the time, and they're going to say, well, when you're using Tattler's, you got to do this different, and it's something that I just didn't know. And so it may be an error on my part, but I don't have any problems with the other rings. All the other lids, the traditional metal disposable lids, all sealed perfectly. Yeah. So and there weren't any separate instructions on the Tattler box, but there may be somebody out there. Call in, tell us if there's something that I'm doing wrong with. I
know Sue's listening to it, and one of the things she's upset with you.
About the Tattler lids?
No, she's so those that don't know, let me give backstory. Sue is actually the owner of Mountain View offgridliving.com, and she said, no, you're making us hungry. you're making us, we're all sitting here going, we're all hungry. You gotta call and you gotta do a show. Now, one of the things she did say though, and I'm waiting for her to answer on the Tattler one as well. And
we were I was in chat with her before the show started.
I know, I was watching it.
But
I told you.
I had to shut my Patriot FB off, because otherwise I'm going to have all the little ding.
Oh, that's actually a good point. If you go to your name, there's a little arrow down by the green. You can click on that, and that's what turns off the
sounds.
That turns off the sounds.
Oh, okay. I'll know next time, and I'll leave the chat on.
One of the things that Sue did say is that I did not know this. She also said, the tomatoes have actually been genetically altered, have been bred basically to take the acidity out of them.
Oh, so now they don't have enough acid. And
Yeah,
you should,
so she was like,
can 'em?
you should
Wow.
pressure can those as well because,
What do you know?
and well, that's Big Brother taking care of us.
Yeah.
So
But now what about and I should have left the chat on so I could be in on this. But I know you're listening, Sue. What about heirloom tomatoes? No, they should still have the same acidity, right?
I don't know. We'll wait. I'm still waiting for her to answer the one about the toddlers.
Yeah. I'll be interested to know about that. But as of right now, until I get further information, I'm not using them anymore, and I'm just sticking to because they're very expensive.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can just use them indefinitely. I think they're you might use them 10 or 15 times.
Yeah.
But the regular disposable lids are pretty cheap, so I guess my advice at this point is just stock up on those until I get more information of I'm doing something wrong with the tattlers.
Yeah. She actually just came back. She said that she bought some as well, and she has not used them yet, but she will definitely use them and then give a critique or whatever on them. So, but what's really funny? We talk about canning. I don't broach. I don't know how you are with your family and everything. I don't really broach the conversation of prepping with my family, with my mom and dad. They just think I'm crazy, but it's okay. They raised me, so I mean, I can be crazy maybe. But what was really weird when I was talking to my mother over the holidays, I said, "Yeah, I'm gonna get a can. What kind of can?" And my mom and dad both were on board with it, and they were like, "Oh," my mom was like, "I love canning because she does it with my grandmother." They were both on board, and then I hear my father in the background say, "Oh, he's got to do this and do that," and I was like, "Wow, huh? How come we didn't do this when we were?" Well, we did. When I was younger, I remember doing pickles, but we might have found a commonality now that we can talk. I can give my mother a call and talk about canning with her and stuff. But yeah, I everything I've learned is keep it simple. Keep it,
And that's a great point too for prepping is, finding that common ground. What's the other person into? Are they into hunting? Are they into guns? Are they into canning? Are they into gardening? What's the common thread there that you can start the conversation with? If you live in Florida, we've got hurricanes we can talk about here. So
That's true. So all right, so we doesn't know about her heirlooms either. So that I just got that back from her. And if anybody, this is very important. This is a new feature that we're doing now with the show. If anybody wants to join into the conversation, they go out to patriotfb.com and they can open up the public chat, the chat room, and they can actually see the conversation as we're having it. And I just wanted to throw that out there. So you got the tattlers. We've already determined that those are no good.
Didn't work for me.
Didn't work for you.
I guess out of 10 or 15, 3 didn't seal.
Yeah.
So, and then, and now I'm all sketched out about the other ones that did seal, but I'm just going to make sure I eat those first.
Now, the ones that don't seal, can you redo those, or is it advised that you're done? I mean, they're done.
Well, I guess you could, but let me tell you something, that you've got cooked turkey meat already that you're putting in a jar, and then you're going to put it in a pressure canner and cook it for another 90 minutes.
Okay.
So at that point, you've got this really, really cooked. When you get like canned chicken or canned tuna or something, it's got a completely different texture. It's because it's been cooked so much. And I think to cook it another 90 minutes, I don't know. It's probably going to be like sort of a mashed potatoes sort of a consistency after that, I would imagine.
Gotcha.
So I don't know. I just poured it out and stuck it in a Ziploc and stuck it in the freezer.
Yeah.
And I'll just eat that first. But you can still eat it as long as unless it goes 3 or 4 days before you figure out that it didn't seal. You want to check your seals, and maybe that's one of the things. With the metal rings, you can grab them and give them a good shake, and they don't pop off.
Yeah.
And I think that those tattlers just don't seal that well. I think they may have been sealed. I think that when I was checking the seal, I get a little rough on it because it's something that sketches me out. That's the last thing in the world I want to have is some spoiled food. So I give them a good shake. The metal ones, you can pretty much just grab that lid and pick the whole jar up by that, and it's not going to come off.
Well, that's exactly.
You got to take like a butter knife and get in there and pop that baby off.
Yeah.
So You don't have to worry about that with the metal lids. And if they're not going to seal, if they're going to seal less than the metal lids, then I just don't even want to deal with it.
Yeah. Scott Hughes wants to know if we can talk about something disgusting with canning, because he's getting hungry as well right before bed, and so he doesn't want to have to get up and get a snack. So.
How about canned meatloaf?
Canned meatloaf. There you go.
You can can meatloaf, and now there's two different types of canning. There's hot pack, which is where you're cooking with where you're canning with food that's been pre-cooked. Which, if you're going to do a turkey, you pretty much have to cook it to get all the meat off the bone. You know, otherwise you're gonna have a lot of waste if you're trying to fillet a turkey. You know, but now canned meatloaf, you can just make up your meatloaf mixture raw, and you can do a cold pack with that. Sure. Now with the meatloaf, if you want it to come out and still be in this, like in a shape of the jar, like your meatloaf, now with that one you're going to have to buy the wide mouth jars.
Okay.
Because your regular, and of course you're going to have to, if you buy wide mouth jars, you're going to have to buy wide mouth rings and wide mouth lids, because it's a whole nother size. And same thing, you know, for the little bitty jelly jars, they have a different ring size and a different lid size. So anytime you change jars, you're going to have to change. You're going to have to also have the lids and the rings for those. And the rings are reusable. You can reuse those things over and over and over for infinity, I suppose. As long as we're going to be around anyway. Yeah. But your meatloaf, you know, you can mix up your onions and your breadcrumbs and your little egg and maybe a little tomato sauce in there or whatever, and just pack it straight into the jar. Leave about an inch at the top, same thing, and 90 minutes for a quart jar and 60 minutes for a pint, and it'll cook the meat. It'll cook the meatloaf while it's canning it.
Gotcha. Okay. So you're actually cooking it at the same time. I gotcha.
And then, but that's 90 minutes at 11 pounds. So you're going to have probably 20 minutes on each side getting the pressure up and taking the pressure back down. So
gotcha.
So it's going to have plenty of time to cook.
Gotcha.
And of course, you know, you could do any variation of that. You could do meatballs, and you put those in your tomato sauce. You have like a pasta, spaghetti and meatballs already there. I don't know if I would do anything where I already had I would definitely cook my pasta separate, because if you cook pasta for 90 minutes, it's not going to be pasta anymore. Yeah. It's going to be roux.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. One of the coolest things I saw was bacon. Now, you know, you cannot live without bacon. I don't care where you are.
Without it.
I actually saw how they did bacon, and that was
awesome.
It was, you know, that was fascinating. You know, that was fascinating. I mean, to watch.
And you could do chili with your beans and your tomatoes and your ground beef in there. You could do beef stew, you know, with your carrots and your potatoes in there. That'd be great.
That's it.
One of my favorite things to can is mojo pork, because down here in South Florida, you know, we have a lot of Cuban influence in the food. And one of the great things they do is mojo pork. And I'll buy one of those pork shoulders, which we can get them from our butcher here sometimes for similar price to the turkey, like, you know, 69 cents a pound.
Wow.
And I'll throw that in the slow cooker and put an onion in there and 4 or 5 cloves of garlic, a little salt and pepper, and grapefruit juice. What they actually use is called bitter orange, but it's almost never in season down here anyway, so I always get the grapefruit. And I put the juice of one grapefruit in there, and I don't put the whole I don't put the peeling and all of that stuff in there, because it gives it sort of a real bitter taste that's different than that nice sweet tart taste from the grapefruit. Yep. And I'll cook that for about 6 hours. Pull that apart, stick it in the jar. I've got that nice broth that cooks out of it. Fill the jar up with that and can it. And what that mojo pork is great with is beans and rice, which is a prepper's favorite, because the rice will store for 20 years, and your black beans will, if you put them in a Mylar bag, you can probably get 20 years out of them. But just keeping them in a cool, dry place, you can get about 12, 15 years out of your black beans. Sure. So those are both real easy long-term storage foods anyway. So this is one of those things that goes really well with your beans and your rice.
Yep.
And another great thing you can do with that leftover mojo pork is barbecue sauce. with that garlic and that onion and that grapefruit inside there, and then you put a little barbecue sauce on top of that. It is fantastic.
Mark, we're gonna take a break.
Because you gotta go get something.
I gotta go get something to eat. And I'm looking forward to, because we being Southern and stuff, we love our pulled pork barbecue, and that was one thing that a lot of friends were telling us, that when we get into canning is that you take your barbecue sauce and you take your meat and you put it in there, and with the pressure, because you're pressurizing it or whatever, and it's under pressure, they said it infuses the meat and it just makes it incredible. I mean, it's just I'm getting hungry.
Yeah.
And today on prepping with
so
Mark.
that's cheap, and this is all cheap stuff. Ground beef for meatloaf, you can get that pretty cheap. The turkeys, you pick those up at Thanksgiving for 69 cents a pound, and just watch your local butcher. You can get those pork shoulders. I've seen Winn-Dixie's. I don't know what you guys have up there. I've seen Winn-Dixie's around here have them. We have a place here that's primarily a butcher. It's called Penn Dutch, and it's actually all hormone-free meat that they grow on their own farm. So we're really blessed to have that place, and I don't think that they're certainly not in Kentucky where my family are. But,
have you ever heard of a company called Zaycon?
No.
Zaycon products?
No. Mm-mm.
You can buy. I actually signed up for them, and they have it's 60 pounds of ham. Honeyball ham for $70, $80. It's bulk. You buy it by the, and what it is that you place your order, and then they have basically a distribute where they say, look, we're going to be this church. What I'm seeing is that most of it's church organizations. So they say meet at the parking lot at this church or whatever, and it's Zaycon Foods, and you can buy it by the you got to register. I'm going to put a link. Zaycon. Now they have an affiliate program, which is really cool for so like you'll get a link, you'll create a link for you, and then if you share that with people, if anybody buys stuff, then you get credit towards your account for that. Good. So but it's ZAY, and they're all over the United States. I mean, they're and like I said, they're like churches and stuff usually sign up for them. They got a ton of them in your area. I'm surprised you haven't, but they do bulk food. Bulk meats. And the thing is they only do, like right now, they're only doing, in my area, they're only doing hamburger, and they're only doing ham. Now they do bulk bacon and everything. And I was out at one of the prepping sites, and they were talking about that's how they buy their meats. And like, it's just unbelievable, their pricing. And everybody says that it is restaurant grade, so it's high quality. And the way that I guess their story is that they negotiate with the farmers in your area, and then they handle all the processing and stuff, and then they deliver it. So you got to order ahead of time. It's not something where you just show up. You got to order a couple weeks ahead of time, and then they meet at a church parking lot or wherever it's at.
Oh, very cool. I'm waiting for the 30-minute drone delivery ham.
That's right.
That's what we need now.
Just drop the ham at you.
Yeah,
I remember this is now here you go. This is how far I've come. How far I've actually grown up in the last few years. When I lived in Chicago, I used to have the
milk delivery.
I used to have the food delivery to the house.
Milk? Did you have the milkman?
I didn't have the milkman. I actually had the food.
Wow.
I had the food delivery. You go online, order your food. That you're just too dang lazy when you can't even get up and get in the car and go to the grocery store and buy your own food. You have someone else pick it for you. And we're here in Wisconsin. You want to talk about milk, and I was going to ask you about that, because there is a huge up here. You used to be able to get unpasteurized milk. You can't get it anymore. It's a felony. Even in Wisconsin, they've made it a felony. Now,
they'll lock you up.
Now, I know that there are, you can't tell me that there's farmers, if you know of a farmer or something. But I was actually online, and there was watching a YouTube video, and she had a recipe where she did several different times and stuff for the milk, and she was able to do it, because the problem, I guess, with milk is you can caramelize it. If you do it too much and stuff, but she, it was a pretty interesting video where she would buy bulk milk, and then she would can the milk.
Huh.
And it would be, tremendous amount, because canned milk is not cheap, as we all know.
Yeah.
My thing, I'm not really into the canning of the milk, except for us, we go through so much milk here at the Norton house that, I could see me buying 4 or 5 gallons, and if I can can them, that way I'd have.
I thought you were going to say you could see you buying a cow.
A cow, wow. That's it. Well, we are in Wisconsin. I don't have to buy one. I just go steal one.
Yeah. You get a little teacup cow that you can kind of keep in the house.
That's right.
Let it sleep under bed.
No, this is what and that's shocking though, because I live in dairy country here, and you can't get unpasteurized milk.
That's crazy.
You just can't get it. I mean, yeah, they made it a felony here, which is just insane. But I actually watched this lady where she did a there is a lady that that did the milk, and she actually canned it, which was pretty cool and stuff. So I would just like to get milk, and I think you can get the milk that doesn't have all the hormones in it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the pasteurization and stuff. It's not. I think for me, and actually Scott, Scott's on here, and he's giving me grief about talking about unpasteurized milk. Scott, I just want to let you know, because I know you're listening to the show, obviously, because you're texting about it. What I'm talking about is I would like to get milk that's non-hormones, that doesn't have all the hormones and all the crap in it and everything. My grandparents were dairy farmers in Michigan, and I remember drinking milk right out of the thing, and I can tell you those were great memories.
With the big chunks of cream in it.
Oh yeah, we used to have a creamer. My grandmother had a creamer, and I used to sit out there with her, and we'd eat tomatoes, snap green beans, and we would make cream. Yeah, they had a cream shed, what they called the shed right there by the house, which is their creaming shed. And,
that's awesome.
Yep, and it's like I said, I would just like to be able to find something that doesn't have all the freaking hormones from the cows and all that stuff in it, which is just unbelievable. So. And
for my green bean casserole for Thanksgiving this year, I actually had fresh green beans from my garden. So
yeah,
that was nice. This is my growing season. It's just too hot to go outside in the summer here. So
that's right. You are in Florida.
This is the time we grow our gardens. I've got fresh mustard greens coming up now. I've got some pepper plants, tomato plants.
Yeah.
It's the easy stuff.
Now
a lot of stuff won't grow down here, even with the raised bed and composting, and a lot of stuff you just can't grow it.
Now they allow you to, because there's a couple cities down there that have actually kicked over some gardens. There's one family I know that made the news last week. They had a 17-year-old garden that they've been gardening for 17 years, and the government, some municipality there in Florida, said no more.
I got a nice high fence. So they don't see my solar panels or my
drone.
Water catch system.
You don't think think that Amazon drone is not gonna?
He's gonna tattle on me.
He is.
They said it's supposed to be 3 to 4 years out, so I'm hoping to be out of here by then.
That or I will have a good beanbag gun for you. I'm telling you, it's open season. It's gonna be fun. Up here. Well, the DNR actually up here do have drones. And they have been shot out of the sky.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, I'm a firm believer in it. They have, it's just crazy. I mean, we need to start taking a stand.
Yeah.
We need to start, I'm waiting for them to pass a law that, that drones are people too, or something like that, to protect them. You can't do that. It's a, I don't know. It's just crazy. So you did your turkey. And we discovered that go keep it simple. Now, How long how long is that good for? Typically. I know you can probably stretch it out, but just realistically, how long will that turkey keep?
The last batch that I did last year, I just finished the last one right before Thanksgiving, so it lasted me a year, no problem. I'm sure. I haven't really researched to know how long. I'm sure 3 or 4 years would be no problem. Okay. I'm sure there's probably Sue might know more about that.
Yeah, she's right now talking about cow milk. We got them on another tangent, so we're
got them on cow milk.
They're on cow milk. They're on milk, and they're bragging about how they can get it there in Idaho. Well, Sue, we're not in Idaho, okay? We're in the great state of Wisconsin, home of milk and dairy, and I can't even get a fresh glass.
She was saying that it's 16 degrees in Idaho right now. I think I would want door to my groceries delivered to my door if it was 16 degrees.
Yeah, it is pretty cold here today too.
What are you at right now?
We were at 27. It's supposed to get down to 19 as our high tomorrow, and then but then we have this thing called we got the wind chill. It's coming out of the north, so with wind chill you're at you're going to be sub.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, no, it's brutal cold. I mean, it really is. But
it was actually hot here today. It was like 83.
Oh, now you're bragging.
But you know what? Too hot. It's too hot for winter. I like 70s.
See, I would not mind.
Winter for me.
See, I can't. Sandy's family's from there, from Florida. My brother lives there in Florida, and I don't like it. I just don't. I don't mind sub-degree weather if I'm in a log home with a fire in a fireplace, and that's that is my goal. I mean, there's going to be a day. I don't think it will ever happen. Because I'll find some way of communicating, but there'll be a day where I just don't do a show.
Yeah.
And then another day will go by, and another day will go by, and then don't worry about me. That just means I'm in my log home, in the middle of the woods. I mean, no, I would love to, like I said, there's nothing like sitting in front of a fireplace when it's freaking freezing cold.
I know. I love that. Yeah. And I miss it.
Yep. So it's incredible. So we got the turkey. We talked about. I was going to ask you. So we talked about milk. We talked about bacon. See, I've been YouTubing it. I've been going to the University of YouTube and watching individuals on there and stuff. Is there any particular YouTube person or prepper that you like, or that you like the videos? Can you recommend any, or am I putting you on the spot?
Oh, I don't know of any really. Backwoods Home Magazine always has good like homesteading type tips.
Oh, really?
I bet they would really have a good canning stuff on there, and they have sort of an online version. I bet they've got good canning information. We talk about the Food Network's huge. I'm surprised that maybe we ought to pitch a story to them about doing, prepping, because I don't see anything on. I would watch it. I think it's fascinating. I mean, to watch the process and how things are done. But maybe that's something our government doesn't want us to know, to be self-sufficient. They don't want us too sufficient. No. Yeah. They want us to need the EBT cards and need the $7.25 an hour job.
That's right.
Yep. And
but
that's where they want us.
So naturally, you actually can a lot of your vegetables out of your garden. Do you buy bulk vegetables, or do you recommend that and can those, or no, or do you go to the farmer's market and buy your vegetables?
I don't have a big enough garden here to produce enough to have a lot of extra to can. I had one year where I had a bumper crop of green beans, and I canned some green beans, 5 or 6 quarts, and then I had one year where I had a bumper crop of tomatoes, but I didn't have my canner yet, so I didn't can any of those.
Yeah.
But I don't have that much space, I just have enough. I have a little postage stamp backyard and a couple of raised bed gardens, and I just kind of do what I can with that. But now my sister's got a huge garden, and she cans everything: green beans, tomatoes, and all of that. And she just sent me some deer jerky for Christmas, and it is just homemade. And it is just fantastic. It's so much better than anything you've ever had in the store.
See,
it's fantastic.
For Scott's benefit, I was trying to talk about vegetables.
Yeah.
And of course, now once again, you have to start talking about jerky and meat.
Get back to the meat.
And it's and the mouthwater. I figured I can get everybody unhungry if we start talking about vegetables. But no, you had to bring it back to that. So you're listening to the Midnight Patriot Radio Show and podcast. Good night, everybody.
Oh, we're gonna go get. I'm gonna go eat some more deer jerky.
We're gonna go have some deer jerky. That's good for you.
But Jeff, I am gonna let you go.
Yeah.
I got a big day tomorrow.
I understand, man. I appreciate you taking time.
Hey, everybody get on patriotfb.com and get your profile and friend me.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm trying to post good stuff on there.
Yeah.
I've got some good pictures of Grumpy Cat and Farmville request pictures and I just posted my interview with Glenn Tate.
Yep.
Which is the author of the 299 Days book series, and his book 7's coming out real soon.
Sure.
And we talked about what kinds of things people can look for in a bug out location. So it was a very, very good. And you can just go on to Patriot Facebook. I'm sorry, PatriotFB.com, and I've got the video embedded right there, and it works just like any other social media where you just click play. And
I can't believe you, Mark. You named the site. I've got the email. You're the one that named the site, and you don't even remember what it was. I mean, that was. Yeah,
no, I remember.
So I'm gonna get T-shirts made. I was gonna say I named it, right? So no, everybody. So everybody knows this is a community effort. Mark actually gave me the idea for the name and everything. So when we, and one of the things too, I gotta tell you, I really like about the site is the fact that I got to get one for the books, but you can put the videos in a video section and then they can be categorized. And so other people that are coming to the site, so it's like a prepping video, right? They can click on prepping, and all the videos that relate to prepping will be right there.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm trying to get people to use that feature, because that way when, because as you know, the news feed, that disappears after a day or so. But those videos will always be there, and if we categorize them, so I've got a bunch of Illuminati New World Order videos, like full-length movies that we're going to be posting up there for people, and that way, and that's why we did it. Now I'm trying to get developed for the book so that we can put all of our online books or PDFs up there and stuff like that. So it's, we're building it. Yeah, this is a community effort, and Mark,
excellent.
Man, I appreciate it.
And I don't know if it was available before on our last show. I think that the audio version of American Exit Strategy, Book 1 of the Economic Collapses, that's now available.
Okay.
I think it was available on Audible the last time we talked, but it's now available on Audible and Amazon and iTunes. So,
oh wow,
of course you can still go to AmericanExitStrategy.com and get the paperback or the Kindle. But now the audiobook's out and makes a great gift for Christmas.
Yep.
Yeah, everybody's going to get somebody something for Christmas anyway.
Yeah.
So get them something preparedness related or something that's going to have some benefit. I got my older sister. I got her one of those old Alice packs that we've talked about that on the show one time for $30.
Yeah.
Of course, she doesn't know how much it costs. It just looks like a real nice high grade military backpack, And then I've gotten my little sister. I'm getting her a nice medical kit that I put together. And then my brother, he's getting some 30-round magazines.
Wow. Don't get the Magpul Gen 3s.
Why?
They have the I don't like them. They have the overextended tab. If you look at the front of them, Magpul made a decision where they merged their SIG line and their Magpul and the normal line together. And now we're finding that if they're using standard forged lowers, not billet lowers, but forged lowers, AR lowers, they're perfectly fine. Where you run into problems is when you use a billet lower, one that has the trigger guard integrated in. There's issues. There are issues where that overextension nub that sticks out there interferes with the trigger group. So
And it's just trying to get it in and out.
Yeah, no, it actually you'll see it. It actually sticks out. So there's some that you on billet lowers you won't be able to get it in.
Huh.
You won't be able to seat the magazine. So if he's got a billet lower, I would go with the Gen 2 Magpuls. If he's if he's got a standard military forged one, or not military, but the standard forged one, he should be fine. We're finding that out. I'm not liking it, but I'm not a big Magpul fan anyway. So, but I know that's what everybody uses, and that seems.
What do you like?
I like the good old metal aluminum ones.
Really?
And the reason being is because when you go full, if you live in a great state of Wisconsin or Texas or one of those states in which you're allowed to have a fully automatic firearm and you have the proper licensing for it, the mag wells tend to heat up, and then the polymer mags start getting gummy or start sticking, especially when you start putting heat into them and stuff. And there was a time there where the military actually said no more polymer mags. They wanted to go back to the metal, to the tin mags. And now they fixed that. Now Magpul does have a history of that. Well, I don't want to slight Magpul, but they do have a history of their magazines sticking and stuff. So I just like the good old, believe it or not, I bought a bunch of just cheap, inexpensive Israeli used battle mags. Dirt cheap. I probably still got about 100 of them, just sitting in a box. And,
wow.
And I love these things because, they work, and for the price that I paid for them, if I'm out on the range and I do a mag dump where I'm just shooting and then dropping the magazine and they get stepped on and they get whatever, I'm not freaking out. I'm just like, okay, whatever. And like I said, and for the price of them, they work just as well as the $15 or $10 or whatever magazines. And the thing is for the price of them, I'm able to get 2 magazines. So I'm able to have 2 more magazines loaded, ready to go.
Sure.
And so I just, it ain't about being pretty here at the Midnight Patriot. It's about being practical. And so that's, but like I said, if you're buying magazines, I do like polymer Troys. Troys are all right. I don't want to say they're all right. I like Troy Battle Mags.
Mm-hmm.
I know they're pretty popular. So, but there's some specials out there. If you go out to Palmetto State right now, during, tell everybody this. Here's a free advertisement. I had to send them a bill. But Palmetto State has great deals on magazines throughout the year. I mean, they run sales all the time, and I really like what they're doing. So, all right, sir. I know it's late for you. I appreciate you joining us tonight, talking about canning. And same bet.
Jeff, thanks for having me back on the show, and
man,
thanks for all you do. And I think that's fantastic that you got Patriot FB up.
Yeah.
And did one of Michelle Obama's classmates help you design that? Because I mean, it's working an awful lot better than Obama.
This one works. What are you talking about? This one's working. This one is it was funny. I was actually on tech support today.
It's working perfectly.
It does
from
work.
from the launch.
Yes,
and you built that thing in a day.
we got it stood. You know what? It was funny, and what was funny is that we announced that we're going to do it. Stone Anthony was like, well, you need to look at this stuff and that. And so then I got with my guys. I said, let's evaluate some existing stuff that's out there and then see if, let's figure out where it's broke or where it's deficient. And let's spend our time fixing that. And one of the things I got to tell people is the database behind this site. Is all encrypted. So say you are a super genius hacker and you get you get the database, you get access to the database, it's encrypted. It's like gobbledygook, inside there. So, good luck, have fun, and that's one of the things that we did. And the other thing is that we got it geared up so we can distribute it. And it is, with Amazon and the other one, we're 32 servers worldwide right now, and we can spin that up as Amazon's like, hey, you want to take this as big as you want. Well, of course we're paying per terabyte worth of data, and they'll be more than happy to give us more servers. So we'll see, but everybody's liking it, and it has not crashed, not once. Not
Awesome.
much. Yep. So
Awesome.
I know you got to go, my friend. So take care of yourself. I thank you very much.
Jeff, we'll see you next week.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Thanks for all you do, man.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Prepper Recon. Man, it is a community here at the Midnight Patriot radio show and podcast. I mean, just great people, and I can't stress that. And that's one of the things, when we talked about doing the site, it's all about the community. It's all about, and I wish, for those that are listening to the show and stuff, you really need to get on the patriotfb.com. And the reason being is that there are side conversations that are going on as this show is going on, and you're missing out on a lot. It's just fascinating. And I can tell you, I'm very, very happy with the way that this has turned out. This is beyond my wildest dreams. I mean, this is incredible. Now we can obviously, we need to get more in here. We need to get more of the Patriots, but I don't want to get too big either. We want to keep it a niche. We want to keep it. And that's why we are going to be switching over to an invitation only kind of system here soon. Right now we're trying to kick the tires and bring the membership up, but there is going to be a point in which you have to be invited to patriotfb.com by a fellow patriot and stuff. And the reason why we want to do that is because we still want to keep the quality of the content and the conversation at such a level that it adds value to the community. Because as you know, we're going to get, I'm just waiting, we're going to get some knuckleheads in here and trolls and stuff and we'll deal with that as we have to. But that's one of the things that we want to do is kind of control who we invite in, because we want to keep those knuckleheads out. What a show. Oh my gosh. I mean, it's just been an outstanding show. It's been an outstanding, week and everything. And, I just want to thank, there's some of the sponsors, let's talk about those. Obviously, Sue at Mountain View Off Grid Living, .com. Go out to her website. You can actually, during the show, most nights she's on the patriotfb.com site, so you can join her there, talk to her and stuff, giving out great advice during the show and everything. And Scott, is doing his organization, Freedom Prepper, is doing a really great thing for Christmas. Go out to their website, and it's freedomprepper.com/Christmas. They are actually taking up donations for children, and there are children, and it's a shame that we live in a country that we have children who need, especially during this time of the year. And I'm not going to blame that on society. I'm going to blame that on our government, because our government, what happens is that when they take away the incentive for people to do well, they and take away that incentive. This is what you get when you have a community that is an actual community and not being controlled by the government. People come together and they do the right thing. They always do. And so I have to lay the blame for children that don't spend the holidays with a roof over their head or food and stuff. I solely blame that on our government and this administration, governments in general, because when people band together, people like freedomprepper.com, band together, we will rise to the top, and we will do what we need to do to take care of those that are less fortunate and stuff. So, I want to thank them. Obviously, go out to prepperrecon.com. Great blog site for all things prepping. He has, I didn't have a time. I didn't want to put him on the spot, but Mark does, Prepper Recon does another show where he brings in guests once a week, and they talk about issues as far as prepping, and they're just very informative shows. And of course, Mark is an author. American Exit Strategy. If you're looking for presents or stuff to buy people for the Christmas holidays, I will have to tell you, American Exit Strategy is very high on my list, my recommendation list, especially for people who are just getting into prepping, or you kind of do it. It's a story of a family and during a crisis, and it's very realistic. The numbers, the scenarios, the situations, as you're reading the book, you'll be like, oh, that's so-and-so, that's this politician, that's that politician, and he starts you out from a very beginning all the way through. And of course, he's writing a second series of the book. So that's American Exit Strategy. You can get that from our website. we'll get it posted also on patriotfb.com. Just like I said, we list so many authors. We had Tim was on the other day talking about reloading, and that's something like canning. It's something that you can do to increase your base as far as sustainability. And I'm not talking about the Agenda 21 sustainability, but your personal sustainability. Ammunition, as we know, with the getting rid of the lead, the last great lead producer here in the United States at Doe Run and everything, we're going to have to start making your ammo because, a lot of your ammo now will have to be imported. Well, because it's going to be imported, that means it's going to be under the controls and the guise of the government. A lot of people don't realize this, but ammunition in the United States, even though it's ammunition, is not a regulated product. There are certain rules, as far as age limit and stuff, but other than that, it's not a heavily regulated industry, as you would think. And that's going to go away now because now they're going to be able to regulate what gets imported in the United States. They're going to be able to throw tariffs on it. They're going to, this is a de facto gun grab. Obviously, a gun is useless. Firearm is useless for your protection of your family and your community if you don't have ammunition for it. So, one of the ways that you can do that is make your own. There's plenty of brass out there. Like I said, there's government liquidation sites that you can buy brass by the ton, more brass than you ever shoot, the average shooter and stuff. But literally, you can buy it by the ton. They come in huge speed packs. If you're a reloader and you get Tim's book, which is on our website, if you go to www.themidnightpatriot.com, you can actually download his book. It's everything that you need to know about reloading, which is highly, highly recommended, as far as that. And like you said in the show, you don't have to go out and spend $1,000 for a reloader. You can get a very nice setup, especially if you're starting out. You can get a nice setup for $100, which will get you there, which, rightfully so he recommends. Like I said, I inherited a very nice, very expensive reloader. The problem is it was so intimidating and so daunting that I was nervous of using it. So I have friends who actually have used the Dillons and they know how they operate. So they're actually sitting over at their house, and I still got to get my instructions from them and everything because, like I said, they're a lot more knowledgeable. And that's the thing too. There's nothing wrong with saying I don't know. I'm learning that as I get older, because when you tell people you don't know, it doesn't mean that you're dumb. It actually, I think it makes you smarter, because when you say I don't know, and you can bring in people like, Mark, Prepper Recon, and you can bring in Tim and stuff, they'll give you the knowledge. 30 years, Sue, 30 years of experience in prepping and canning and all of those things. And, you got Mark, who, an author, talking about prepping and solutions and stuff like that. It's all about, now, if I came out here and said, I know how to do all this stuff, we wouldn't learn what we learned. I've learned so much from all of our guests that we've had on the show. So it's just been an amazing day and amazing week that we've had here at the show. Well, as we kind of wind down, we're going to, we still got some more news though. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing that this, even in a slow news cycle, we still have pretty lot of news to be talking about. And one of the things I did want to, we wanted to stress, we were talking about Obamacare, and obviously that's been an issue that we've been talking about quite a bit. It is now, it's coming out, and I don't know how you guys are, if you've been able to talk to your attorney generals and stuff, but one of the things that we raised in two shows ago was the fact that Obamacare in most states would be illegal because they don't divulge the information behind the insurance. And I would like to hear from you, our listeners, if you guys contacted your AG. I wrote a letter myself. I actually called the office. They weren't taking any calls. And then I also filed a complaint with the with Wisconsin Professional Services here that oversees those insurance companies. And I'll kind of keep you guys posted on how that goes and everything. Even though in your I want to say in your heart, or that it's probably never gonna we're not going to get any traction on it, it's good to know that at least we're trying, right? And it's just, maybe the next step is we need to start contacting the media and everything, and getting the word out that way. Now, this is sad, and it's not something that I want to report about, but I think we need to, because it just goes to show you that when the media is done using you, they're done using you. You remember Sandy Hook? Everybody knows that terrible massacre. I don't think there's a day that goes by that I don't think about it. I really do. I think about those children and everything that happened and stuff. But you don't hear about it on the media unless they can exploit it. And here's a good example. They were doing a Sandy Hook benefit concert, and I wish I would have known about it, because I would have gone. I would have been there. But there was a Sandy Hook benefit concert canceled in Chicago. The Chicago Musicians Care event was set to feature area musicians of the Chicago Children's Choir. It was canceled because of lack of interest. And that just goes to show you that this, this media who's all out there, the Morgans and, Pierce and all those guys, when they're done using you, they're done using you. There's no reason why there should be lack of interest for this. There were still children that died, and it's just unbelievable. So we're going to take a small break. When we get back, we'll wrap up the evening. You're listening to the Midnight Patriot Radio Show and Podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Norton. You can join us on the web at www.themidnightpatriot.com for all the latest news and information, and our sister site, patriotfb.com.
I'm Eric Kipple, 10-year veteran of the NFL.
And I'm Captain Mark McNeil, 16-year veteran of the Army National Guard. Whether on the playing field or the battlefield, you must be both physically and mentally fit.
If you're injured, you owe it to yourself and your teammates to get back to peak performance. It doesn't matter if you've got a broken bone, depression, a traumatic brain injury, PTSD, or another psychological wound.
Getting help shows strength, not weakness.
To find out more, go to realwarriors.net or call
Out of control spending. A government that no longer works for the people. Had enough? Then vote for Stone Anthony for president. Replace politicians with a citizen statesman. www.stoneanthony2016.com.
America, welcome home the brave. The brave men and women who serve their country are coming home. Home to their cities and towns. Home to their mountains and valleys. Home to their families and friends. Home to America. Some of these warriors are coming home with wounds you can see, and some with wounds you can't see, like post-traumatic stress disorder. Wounded Warrior Project was created to provide the support these wounded veterans need to ensure their return to America is well-adjusted and successful. But we need your help to ensure that our mission is a success. Help us honor and empower these wounded warriors. Contact us at findwwp.org. America, welcome home the brave.
In a moment, cancer changed our lives forever.
We were told nothing could be done to enjoy these final moments together.
But in that moment, when all seemed lost, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital gave us hope.
Because at this moment, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital is saving lives with pioneering research and care. We're changing the way the world treats childhood cancer by sharing our discoveries with doctors and scientists everywhere.
And we'll never have to pay St. Jude for anything, ever.
At this moment, she wants to be in her own bed.
I want to be back at school with my friends.
I want to be outside playing.
Please take a moment and join St. Jude in finding cures and saving children.
You're listening to the Midnight Patriot Radio Show and Podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Norton of the Midnight Patriot Show. You can join me here live every Monday through Friday from 9 p.m. till 12 a.m. Central Standard Time. If you'd like to join into the conversation, give us a call, 1-800-580-4870. That's 1-800-580-4870. I'd love to hear from you. Love to hear what you have to say as we kind of wind down the show and roll off into the evening. Now, you know, this is how low this the liberal media has gone. You know they're desperate when they start invoking God. You know, the same God that they try to deny to you and I every day. The same God that they want to take out of our schools. The same God that they want to take out of our political systems. The same God that they actually would want to take out of your home. The same God that you make a commitment to in front of and to when you marry your spouse. That God, you know, that God, the same God, you know, and this administration and this left-stream media, they have no problem invoking a deity when they feel that it's at their best interest. You know, this is, this is Ed Schultz, you know, the liberal mouthpiece. And, you know, you just got to listen to this. We'll just play it and then we'll
find out what God says we should do about the Affordable Care Act. Well, first of all, the Congresswoman from Minnesota would never do an interview with me because my first question would be about the possible ethics violation that she's being investigated for. I don't think she wants to answer that. Nobody else asked her about it either. She insulates herself pretty good at the conservative media. I'll tell you what I think God thinks of the Affordable Care Act. It's a big amen. Stick around.
It's a big amen. You know, it's amazing. Ed Schultz, the same Ed Schultz who would be the first one to criticize. You know, now they're pulling out, you know, all the stops. You know, all the stops. And he was talking about Congresswoman Michelle Bachmann. You know, whatever. As he sits there grinningly as Chester's cat and, you know, talks about the ethics issues that she's raised into. You know, let's talk about your commander in chief, the ethics issue. I mean, the constant lying, the committed felonies, the loss of his bar degree, the fact that he, you know, has lied on numerous occasions to the American people, the fact that he has been an obstructionist to the legal system in the United States. You know, let's talk about that one. The fact of the matter is that he is fundamentally destroyed and shredding the Constitution of the United States. And you're going to talk about one ethical violation, which was probably brought on by partisans. I don't know about it. I'll have to dig it up a little bit more and look into it. But, you know, Ed Schultz, really, you're gonna invoke God. You know, when last week you're one to deny God and to deny God's people. You know, how dare you? I mean, but that just goes to show you what these people are capable of doing and what lengths they will go to push their agenda. Frankly, I think God made it perfectly clear. Jesus made it perfectly clear. Give unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar, right? You know, I don't think God really has an argument in this fight because, you know, we're all pining for the same damnation. We really are, if you think about it. We're all heading that same road. That's why I don't want to participate. I don't want to be part of it. I don't want to be a part of it because ethically and morally I feel it's wrong, but also I feel biblically it's wrong. I think that we are marching right into the Bible if you read you know, Revelations. And this administration is marking us right there. And actually after last night's show with Jeff Hayes, you know, and reading his book as I become even more awake, I'm realizing these powers and the media super elite, they're marching us right in to our own destruction and stuff. So only naturally it would be for them to stand up there and try to make this sound like it's coming from God. Frankly, I don't know. I'm not one to judge God, and that's not my place. And, you know, whatever it is. But, you know, frankly, I don't think God really cares. You He really doesn't. We got so many other fundamental issues. I think that his focus is probably fixed on other things than this doombockel of a law and this implementation called Obamacare. So, Ed, go back to St. Louis, my friend. Go back from which you came and everything. So, wow. I don't know if you guys heard about this city. This is how crazy our country's been. Now, they can pay, and they'll actually pay people to go door to door, knock on people's door, and get them to sign up on and put financial money down on the most fraudulent insurance scam in the history of the world, in the United States, I should say. They don't have a problem doing that, and they'll pay people to do that. But when a young girl, 11 years old, is shut down for selling mistletoe to fund her braces, that's not backwards. You want to talk about being backwards, America? That's backwards. We will pay people to go door to door and sell you a fraudulent insurance claim called Obamacare, because it is fraudulent because they don't give you the details of what you're signing, and to the tunes of hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, a month in some cases. And that's perfectly okay because it pushes their agenda. But an 11-year-old girl who's out there trying to raise money for her braces, who's selling mistletoe, is told that she can't do it, told that she can't do it or face persecution. That's how backwards this country's become. That's just unbelievable. If you go back to that, an 11-year-old Oregon girl who wanted to help her father.
Portland Saturday Market.
Here you go.
You can put on a show, you can hold up a sign, and of course you can set up a booth. You can sell anything you make, even if it's not clear what it actually does. The vendors compete and pay for these spaces.
I have mistletoe that I hand-picked yesterday.
An 11-year-old doesn't know that.
You are a troublemaker.
Yes.
Madison's young. She's not naive. She knows the Skidmore Fountain's a city park, open to everyone. And by everyone, I mean everyone.
Saturday Market is kind of a diverse place.
Yes.
You see a lot of people doing all kinds of things here.
Yes.
Did you think you'd have any problems?
No, I wouldn't think that I have any problems because people are asking for money. People are selling stuff. This is a public place.
Her smile's why she cut, chopped, and bagged 100 bags of mistletoe from her uncle's farm. She's raising money for braces. Portland Parks Bureau says you still need a license to sell, but you can always just beg.
There are people just next to me that have big signs that say "Got Pot." They're raising money for pot, and I'm trying to sell mistletoe.
How come you don't want to beg?
I don't want to beg. It's just I would rather work for something than beg.
I would rather work. That young lady is my hero. I would rather work for something than beg. There you go. From an 11-year-old girl. Has more common sense than the President of the United States and most Americans, 43%. I don't want to say 43, but thereabouts, Americans. I would rather work than beg. Incredible. Unbelievable. God bless her. God bless her. I wish, this is when you wish you were a Jeff Bezos or someone of that nature, because I'd be calling her and her 100 things of mistletoe would be sold. And the other thing too is that, this is where we're at blame because we allowed our politicians to get to this point, to have that much control and that much power over us. This is our fault. But the other thing, too, is we're at blame because where were the adults to come and say, hey, look, there were other vendors there. There were other vendors who had licenses. They set up their booth, they paid the license. But, of course, they got to worry about their money instead of doing what's right. Where were those vendors? If I was there, I would have said, hey, you can come over and sell in my booth all day long. That's why I keep on stressing. We got to stay together. We got to stay focused, and we got to stay in the fight. We are our brother's keepers. We got to help each other out. So when you see something of that, instead of, pulling out your flip phone and YouTubing it or doing whatever, you need to get involved. You need to become part of the solution. And the only way you're going to be part of the solution is you got to get involved. You got to get involved. So my hat's off. God bless her. Unbelievable. We talk about this thing, today, obviously all across America, you had fast food workers boycotting, saying that they, demanding that they get paid $15 an hour. Demanding. And that's, that's the mindset. That's the mindset of the liberals. They don't realize that those jobs are entry-level jobs. Those are where people get the basic skills. That's where you learn that you have to get up at X amount of time, and you got to put in 8 hours, and you got to fill out this paperwork, and you got to speak respectfully to so-and-so. I mean, I did it. I worked at my first job. Well, actually, my first job was at an art gallery, building a database of art. My second job was working at a Mr. Gaddy's Pizza, making pizzas. Actually, I was a busboy. I wasn't old enough to work in the kitchen. You had to be 18 years of age because we were around sharp instruments and stuff. So I was a busboy. That's what I did. I cleaned tables. That was my first job. And I learned the skills that I needed to get and move on. And the number one skill that I learned I didn't want to do that. I learned at a young age that I didn't want to be a busboy. Now I'll tell you, I've been very blessed, and I know where, my talents come from. My talents are given to me by my Creator. I've always had a guardian angel, always. I can't tell you the number of times, and I'm sure everybody's got their own stories. I can't tell you the number of times that I shouldn't be here. But I'm here because someone's looking over me. And I'm a firm believer that it was to get me to this point into my life. And, when most people are thinking, at this age, talking about winding down, I'm talking about gearing up. Gearing up. But, let's go back to this whole notion that entry-level people should be being paid $15 an hour. Now, once again, I got to say, so does that mean that we double everybody's pay? That means, those commodities, those things that you buy, and, maybe we don't need fast food, but, that doubles. But what about the individual right now who's making $15 an hour at a factory? That means that they want to get $30 an hour. See how that goes? See, there's these philosophical, I can stand up here and say, I don't want hunger. So let it be. And that's the type of mindset that this administration has. As noble as it is, it's not practical, it's not real, it's not based in fact. Go back and pet your unicorn. Because that's what you're talking. It's not based in economic fact. When they sit back and they talk about Obamacare, and we're going to keep on harking on this because it's the fundamental problem. This Obamacare exposes so many issues with this administration and this government and this president. From his lawlessness, the fact that he will lie to you straight out, has no problem doing it, no compunction whatsoever. Even after he's apologetic for apparently doing it, he's still, he hasn't repented. He's still doing the same old thing over and over again. So that's his president. But the fact of the matter is that just because you wish it doesn't make it so. I don't think there's a patriot out there who wishes hunger and homelessness and disease upon people. If there are, they're not ones that I associate with. But the problem is that, you know, this government tries to sell you a can of goods. Talk about canning tonight. A can of goods, it doesn't match reality. Number one, you know, this government, you got to understand that their agenda is cloaked in their actions. And what I mean by that is that they'll sit there and they're talking about, you know, oh, we got to do this because we got to help the poor. They can care less about the poor. They really can. Because if they really truly cared about the poor, they would do things that would bring the poor out of poverty. But no, what do? They continually feed the poor. They keep them there. They keep them needing, keeping them oppressed, because that fits their agenda. And their agenda is complete power. And how do you get complete power is you develop serfdom. And that's what they're doing. They are, and when they can't, like everything else in this country, they import it. When they lose their base or when they whatever, they're gonna give amnesty to 20 million more. They're gonna import the product. That's probably the only time that they actually truly understand capitalism. But the reality of it is that here you are, you got individuals who are out there who are protesting because they want $15 an hour jobs. And of course, all the libtards out there are promoting it, but they don't realize, they don't understand that it's not based in reality. You can't, you know, you think that's going to create more jobs? You think that you're going to give that person $15 an hour more is actually going to benefit that person when they're standing on the unemployment line? Well, of course, it's going to benefit the government because now those people are on the government dole. And if you don't go along with what the government wants, you're going to lose your ability to fend for yourself. See, the government wraps so many devious and evil plots under the guise of trying to help you. When the government tells you they're there to help you, hold on to your checkbook and grab your gun. Because they're not there to help you. They're there to enslave you. That's what governments do. They enslave people. They create wars. Now, I'm not one to be all about having mass anarchy. I think you have to have a simple rule of law, but I think that the rule of law needs to be more local and not federal in nature. It needs to be local. But it's been turned around. The federal government has way outgrown its ability to understand the needs of the states. But that wasn't the intention of our fathers. It was always supposed to be the states that drive the country, not the other way around. As we sit and we all hail our king up, and how sick is that? A patriot. George Washington did not want to be a king. He didn't want to be even the president. He took his office as a humbled man, not as a man who was trying to gain power or control or manipulate. He could have, rightfully so, after winning the Revolutionary War and freeing us from England and the tyranny of England. He could have easily declared himself king of the United States and probably got away with it. But he didn't. Because he was a man of God. He knew that his foundation was in the Word of God, and God doesn't like kings. He doesn't like anybody worshiping. God is jealous. He doesn't like anybody worshiping anybody other than him. But see, kings, they require that worship. That's what fuels them. Can you imagine if you go to the Queen of England? Like I said, I don't know the Queen Mother of England. Don't know her, obviously don't know her. Don't have any desire to ever meet her. But can you imagine that royal family coming out of Buckingham Palace? Can you imagine the thralls of soldiers and their motorcade and their people, and no one show up? No one show up. Everybody just goes on and does their daily thing. You know, it's kind of like that with this president. I actually think that this president, like most presidents, when they drive their motorcade wherever they're going, no one really cares. I don't see anybody lining up for this president as he's driving. Actually, in Chicago, when I have seen the president come through the city of Chicago, people are more annoyed by the fact that they're blocking traffic and creating traffic jams. You know? It's just unbelievable. We need to wake up. Our observations do not match reality. Our wants and our needs and our desires are not based in fact. They're delusioned. They're skewed because of mainstream media. I have to find the article, and I'll get it. Paul Harvey said it very well, and maybe we'll do it on tomorrow's show. I'll have to dig it up, where he talks about the influence of mass media on the human psyche. And like his speech, If I Were the Devil, this speaks to the fundamental flaw of humans and the overreaching mind control of mainstream media. Our government, they understand it. They are getting every dollar of their investment back in their research of these individuals when they promoted them, when they brought them over from Nazi Germany. It's just amazing. Utterly, utterly amazing. But you're listening to the Midnight Patriot radio show and podcast. You can join us here on the web at www.themidnightpatriot.com every Monday through Friday, starting at 9 p.m. and going till 12 a.m. You can also join us on our sister site at patriotfb.com. That's patriotfb.com. As a patriot, you finally have a voice that is free from censorship, intimidation, the ever-prying eye of this government and this administration. When we get back, we'll wrap up the show. Kind of set it up for tomorrow night. But you're listening to the Midnight Patriot Radio Show and Podcast.
After Daniel Pearl was kidnapped and murdered in Pakistan, his family and friends came together to work towards a more humane world.
A foundation was formed in Daniel's name to promote cross-cultural understanding through journalism, music, and innovative communications.
On Daniel Pearl Music Day, thousands of people around the world will unite to promote harmony for humanity,
carrying on his mission of connecting people through words and music.
Join us in using the universal language of music to diminish hatred,
respect differences,
and reach out in friendship.
We invite you to perform, support, or attend a Daniel Pearl Music Day event in October.
Participate in Daniel Pearl Music Day, promoting
out-of-control spending, a government that no longer works for the people. Had enough? Then vote for Stone Anthony for president. Replace politicians with a citizen statesman. www.stoneanthony2016.com. You're listening to the Midnight Patriot Radio Show and Podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Norton. You can join us on the web at www.themidnightpatriot.com. That is www.themidnightpatriot.com. You can also join us on our new sister site, which is patriotfb.com. That's patriotfb.com. It's everything that you want in a social media site without the ever-present eye of big government, corporations, and control. You know, I have to say that it is about control. You know that there are individuals, and I was kind of a little upset when I got put in jail, Facebook jail. Isn't that crazy to even say that? The fact that, you know, that was kind of concerning, and the reality of everything that's going on in this world, but that's how people think. Even I'm not immune to that thought process. But when you think about it, that you know, it's upsetting. We talked about it quite a bit on the show. We talked to other individuals who have been in Facebook jail. It's kind of like a club. We ought to make a patch, put on our jerseys. You know, a patch. That's just crazy. So what we did is that for those that are listening, is that we created our own site called the patriotfb.com. Looks, smells, acts, does everything. But like I said, it is owned by you. It's owned by us. It is owned by the group, the community. So we ask that you join. You know, let your friends. The show is ready to go. Or the website. It's ready for prime time. We've been running it 2 days, no downtime, no glitches, no nothing. And it's running. So I highly recommend that you join up. Now you start telling your friends about it. Get the word out. We're ready to go. I'd like to sign up 1,000 new a day. That would be outstanding. That's more than Obamacare's doing. You know, I know that we have the Patriots out there. I know they're out there. A little bit of housekeeping here as we head off into the evening. Haven't done this in a while, and I do apologize, but all the music that's provided here at the Midnight Patriot Radio Show and Podcast is given to us exclusively by Madison Rising. Go out to their website, madisonrising.com. Buy their albums. I know they got a new album out. Look for their tour dates. If you have the opportunity to see them live, I highly recommend it. You know, get the word out. Great music, just outstanding music. Patriot music you can rock to. You know, Patriot music that you enjoy, you know, listening to. But that's at madisonrising.com. Tonight's show obviously was brought to you by mountainviewoffgridliving.com and prepperrecon.com. It's mountainviewoffgridliving.com. Go out to their website, give Sue a call if you want to join her. She's usually on during the show on our chat at patriotfb.com, and also Mark with prepperrecon.com. Great podcast, great information. As we wind down the evening, here's a song that's actually called Walking Through the Door by Madison Rising. May God bless you. May God keep you. You'll always be in my prayers. Until we talk again, my friends, my fellow patriots. Good night.
The call of duty came and I went with pride. I found myself overseas, just protecting the dreams that we had. And there's nothing more important than giving all I have to give. I'm fighting for the things that I believe. It's time to go, my country's calling me. Now go walking through the door, leaving with my head high. Set my country free. son gave her a happy life. I found myself overjoyed